What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Ooh, yeah, hooray!
This week,
I'm sorry. Woo. Who?
you guys, you're close, but you're not there. It's
know.
gotta come with like almost like a cough from like woohoo or something like that. Like, yeah, I'm back. Like he's.
I mean, I think we were closer than you. I think because I were both closer.
No. He like really sits in some of the words. Apparently he had like 15 lines in this movie or something crazy like that, which is
that makes sense.
I think
I
accurate.
believe it.
Everybody else had all the lines.
You sure it wasn't crash, crash, bang, bang?
Yeah, exactly.
Pow, 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 pow.
But you guys, we're talking about John Wick, Chapter 4.
Was it supposed to be called like Parabellum or have like a different name?
That was the third one.
Chapter 3. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this one didn't have any like sub thing.
There was a leak early on that it was originally supposed to have a subtitle that was a Japanese word I can't remember right now. But yeah, they got rid of that in development. It was never announced with a subtitle.
That was going to be my trivia. Give me the Japanese word now. You guys, before we talk about John Wick, news of the week.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys all saw the big news, so I don't even have to tell you what it is.
Obviously. Not an
yeah.
idiot.
In fact, we don't even have to talk about it. Yeah, let's just skip to the movie then. John Wick.
No, we're going to talk about it, because I want to talk about it, you guys. I just have to find it, because I put it somewhere in the thing.
Well, you obviously know what it is, because it's so
do. I knew what it
iconic.
was. Oh, Marvel fired everybody the other day. How about that?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
interesting, right?
Goodbye.
Yeah,
They did a real-life Succession.
They did a real-life Succession, and, like, some of it was cool, and some of it we'll see.
Let's be fair. Succession did a real-life every tech company.
Yeah, that's true.
Or did a fake life every tech company, rather.
That's right. But yeah, they fired. Well, let's go in order. First, they fired Victoria Alonso, who has been on the Marvel beat for a while. I want to say she was there for the first Iron Man movie, and she's been with the comics, like the entertainment part of the company, for a while. And no one knows why. I don't know if you guys saw this. There were lots of competing reports about her. Like, first it was she worked the VFX artist to death, and she was like the person in charge of that. And then it was that she was working on a movie of hers that she didn't want to, that she wanted to promote, and there was some rule or something. And now it's that she was like, we can't blur out the gay pride flag in Ant-Man 3. And they were like, you're fired. I don't know which one of those seems more realistic.
Those are very different.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I could see working the VFX artist to death. There was a VFX person specifically that was on Twitter that was like, yeah, she was bad.
Well, Twitter's all bots and fake now, so how can we even trust it?
Here's the thing, Nando. I believe that she was a terrible slave-driving boss who worked the VFX team to death. However, I also believe that that's not why she was fired.
Yeah,
her crime was wokeism. She was too woke.
I mean, she was pretty woke, as we heard.
How dare she be woke?
I mean, it's just that I can't see that being a problem for Disney managers. You know,
it's a problem now. I hope it's a problem. And it seems like it might be a problem because they're making less movies. And what was the other thing that they're doing? Oh, and then they fired a certain person who we'll get to. But yeah, I don't know. They fire lots of people, maybe.
Who can say?
Yeah. And then the other one they got rid of finally, Donald Trump's good friend Ike Perlmutter. The worst man in the show business. We got him, boys. Yeah.
Is he the one who wouldn't let them make toys of girls because boys won't play with girls' dolls?
That's exactly it. He did that. He didn't want to pay for Robert Downey Jr. to be in Civil War. He was the reason there's no Black Panther movie. All that stuff.
Black Widow?
No Black Widow movie for a while. Yeah. He was awful. It's good that he's gone for sure.
Yeah, that's not a huge loss.
It'd be funny if he was secretly the hero that was holding it all together. But yeah,
unlikely? Question mark.
Unlikely. But he's been around forever. He's like some toy executive, I think, who bought the company or like kept Marvel alive in the 90s when they were broke. But he sucks now, so good riddance.
I mean, it sounds like he sucked the whole time.
That's true. Yeah, he sucks. He sucks a lot. But now he's gone. That's nice.
Yay.
Yeah. And then we've got, obviously, another pending Marvel firing that we'll find out more about later. But those are the big two in the Marvel Studios department.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we got a release date for Secret Invasion, which is...
June 21st?
June? Yeah. So, that's coming.
Which means we know our June Marvel Snap season. That's the real news as far as I'm concerned.
It is. It's all that matters.
That's the most important thing of everything that we just said.
Yeah, honestly. Nothing matters more than Marvel Snap.
DJ's favorite game that he'll never stop playing.
I love it so medium.
Mm-hmm.
I medium love it so much. I love it like I love one of my own, like... You know when you buy an air freshener that it's, like, just right? You're like, yeah, this is, like, the air freshener that, you know, makes my car smell just right. Like, that's how much I love Marvel Snap. So, like, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. And then every morning you text us, guys, this fucking air freshener, I'm done. And then we all go, really? And then by the end of the day, you're like, I bought another air freshener, you guys. And we're like, really?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
I found the news I was looking for, by the way. I don't know why I had so much trouble with this. Did you guys see, we learned more about the big movie of the year, Rebel Moon. We didn't really learn anything new about it, but there was an interview where someone said this person is a co-writer for Rebel Moon. For people that don't know, this is the new Zack Snyder Star Wars project or something that is on Netflix. This is what they said. I think with Rebel Moon, people will just see that it's him really going to unleash his visual imagination to the fullest extent. I think people will really dig it. Can you imagine?
Yeah, man.
Zack Snyder's just unleashed. What could that even be?
Yeah, could you imagine a Zack Snyder movie that really felt like it had his own personal imprint on it?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine Zack Snyder being allowed to do whatever he wanted?
That's true. Speaking of that, I don't think we talked about Snydercon is coming. It's like they're showing all the movies in theaters or something.
Is that what it is?
Did we get the official? What it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to go to the whole day, right? The whole event. You're going to see every single movie.
All 3 days, yeah.
All 3 days. You're going to go see all the classics like Return of the Living or Dawn of the Dead. That's what it was. Dawn of the Dead. You're going to see Sucker Punch. You're going to see 300. You're going to see Man of Steel. You're going to see Batman v Superman. You're going to see the Snyder Cut. You're going to see
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, yeah, with the casino heist.
Are you going to see both Justice League and the Snyder Cut?
Well, obviously, only... the parts of Justice League that count.
Okay.
We'll cover our eyes. It's going to be like a, like a sing-along. Be like, whenever you hear the ding, avert your eyes as Flash jumps right into Wonder Woman's boobs or something. Like, which, honestly, we could probably use that ding for not Snydercon, but that is what they're doing in Snydercon. I don't think it's called Snydercon. That was what we thought it was going to be called.
It should be called that.
It should be called that.
I'm kind of depressed at how many of his oeuvre that I successfully named.
Well, I mean, you missed the biggest one, The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. But
of course, yeah. We're still going to do one day, right, guys?
I mean, if I won the Match Madness thing, which is an absolute disaster right now.
You're not.
No, yeah, I don't think I got this. Do we have like a winner yet? I feel like it's very possible.
We have an update. I really don't want to say.
DJ is so thrilled to tell us the names of the people who are currently winning the brackets. DJ was just telling me before we started that he couldn't wait to say them out loud with his human mouth into a microphone.
So, let me do the men's bracket first. So, the person in first, who it seems like they probably won't win just because they've hit the max total of their bracket, is Silly Worm. It seems like the winner is going to be Joe T42. So, assuming,
There's also a bracket of Jordan Schuyler that seems like it's within striking distance. They could.
Yes. It is possible that Jordan S. Cohen might pull one out.
Well, we know the NCAA coordinators who fix all the games, so they told us how everything's going to turn out.
That is
so
true.
We know which bracket's going to win.
I gambled so much. And then on the women's side, it really seems like the winner is going to be the name is Daisy May Smegma.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know. There's some other people that are in the hunt. It could be any of them.
I don't know why you find this so hilarious, Diggins.
Because
because of that classic joke, DJ. Smegma.
Mm-hmm.
Smegma balls. Am I right?
God. The Daisy May person, yeah, they have a max of 1,600 current points. Like, that's their possible. But there's a lot of other people in the 1,300s. I could see somebody else coming up and taking it. With the men's, it really is just like, there's like 2 people left.
Yeah,
possibly
it feels very likely Joe T42, but you're right. The Jordan S. Cohen might be able to pull it out.
Yeah. I don't know what their movies are if they win.
I hope they're trash. I submitted a random bracket. I told ESPN to just generate a random bracket and put it in.
Yeah.
And my men's bracket has been incapable of earning points since the second round.
Nice. Mine too, probably. I know it's bad. This is maybe the worst year in history for brackets. It's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
So many upsets.
Doesn't that make it the best year in history for the tournament? Because that means it's really exciting.
Yeah. No, because... I thought this was like an interesting point that I heard that like it's good to have like Cinderella's early, but you want favorites late. Like you want your Dukes and North Carolinas. Like you want all those people to be like doing well late because that's like the most interesting outcome. So yeah.
How is the people who everyone thought was going to be at the end the most interesting outcome?
Well, I guess like watchable because like the problem is like with the teams who are in it, it's very like regional. Like no one cares. Like it's like Miami, San Diego State. Like only the people in those areas like give a shit. So
those people and people who care about the sport of basketball instead of just mindlessly rooting for their home team.
I don't know, man. It's college basketball has become so warped because every team is a new team every year. There's no like, I don't know, I sound like an old person, but it's not like it used to be, it'd be the same people for 4 years. You had the Fab Five and you always do what you're going to get. It's so much more like, it's just like you're getting a new team every year. There's no consistency. So you're rooting for laundry, you know? I don't know.
What does that mean? Is that a phrase people say?
Like, I think it was like everyone's favorite comedian, Jerry Seinfeld joke. It's like, hey, you look at sports, you're just rooting for laundry. Hey! Yeah. Did I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Did I do it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, we all love him.
We all love him. You guys.
Yeah.
Because it's a good movie. B-movie.
Because of B-movie, right, yeah. You guys...
Which you can force us to cover by winning the tournament.
How have we not done B-movie? That feels like a slam
I'm surprised
dunk
we
for us.
haven't, yeah. But
I've
you
seen
guys,
B-movie.
I mean, we've all seen it, Diggins. It doesn't make you special.
It's true.
I think it makes him pretty special.
You're right. I'm sorry.
As far as Jerry Seinfeld is concerned, I feel like, or do you think people in his life pretend to have never seen B-movie or pretend to have seen it and liked it?
I think it's got to be the second one, right? Because
yeah,
I feel like if I knew Jerry Seinfeld and I told him I've never seen B-movie, he would be like, he would force me to sit down and watch it with him and then tell him what I think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think he knows it's bad?
I don't know enough about Jerry Seinfeld to know how self-aware he is.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I mean, you saw that picture of him dressed up like a Zoomer, so he can't be that self-aware.
Right. You're right.
That's just a fashion thing. Maybe he understands like comedy more. Although he made B-movie, so like, how much can he understand?
Well, did he write it or did he just star in it?
I think he wrote it. I mean, like he has to have written it because
that
it's
would be
so
insane.
him. I want to say it was like his big. Yeah, he wrote it. He wrote it. He did not direct it, but this was like his big project. He was like, "You guys have a great idea," and there were 3 other writers, but he was one of them. He was one of the main ones.
He's like, "I have a great idea." You know the phrase "B movie," but what if we're like literally a bee?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
And I don't know. Maybe the bee could have sex with a lady. I don't know. That could be in there, but that's the main thing. Is the thing I said, and then we'll see if we have room for that second thing. Yeah, I want that director's cut. Zach, get on it. Give me your version of B-movie. The ultimate cut. That's the good stuff. But you guys, speaking of ultimate things, I don't know, ultimatums, not ultimatums. They haven't called one of these that yet, right? Did Chapter 2 have a word thing?
I don't believe so. I think that was just John Wick 2.
They really didn't like how they had the word at the end of the third one then, because it gave up on that immediately. It's pretty ballsy.
Right. It also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it wasn't John Wick 3 excommunicado. Like,
I think what they're I think they're going for a Fast and Furious thing where every movie's different because it's John Wick 2, John Wick 3 Parabellum, and then John Wick Chapter 4.
I believe they are all chapters, except for John Wick 1, obviously. But yeah, on IMDb, it is John Wick Chapter 2. But John Wick Chapter 3 does have Parabellum in there for some reason. Because, otherwise, how could we tell the difference between numbers 3 and 4? It's such a good
I sure can't.
You guys, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about John Wick Chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
But first...
Yeah, we got to do the IMDb game.
No.
Which I'm in charge of this week. Cannot be more excited.
You did it. finally won.
And you guys, I don't know if you've heard the insane, bizarre, confusing, and way too complicated lore behind the IMDb summaries, but basically, there's a room full of tattooed women. Mm-hmm. And they dress like they're dressed like little 50s waiters, but also like little 50s waiters in a Zack Snyder movie. And their job is to sentence or letter by letter write the IMDb summary for every movie. Then they hand it to a person, a person that you would assume is some sort of vagrant, but is actually the king of an underground network of whatever bullshit. And they take that summary, and the summary comes. They don't like just write it from random letters. They interpret old paintings and stuff, and then they look at them and they figure out what it is. They hand it to the man. Who is not Jason Mantzoukas anymore. He is gone. Forget about him. Forget about how much you loved him. He's not in this. And they take that to a fancy boy with a lot of horses and women on the horses. Don't worry about them either. And he does some sort of weird branding thing where he brands the IMDb summary into the back of a person. And then that guy has to go kill some other people. And if they are killed by that person, the John Wick summary, that is the summary of the movie about that person. So if John Wick kills them, boom, that's how you get the summary of John Wick 4. And I guess I have it here in front of me. And you know what? It's okay. I can't say anything really bad about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not super interesting, but it's something.
Okay.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Who's I can't remember. Who's the loser?
I have the honors. I will go first. I think I got a pretty good handle on it. So, all right. John Wick must embark on a quest to defeat the Marquis appointed by the High Table. He must encounter old foes and face off against old friends and some mysterious newcomers before he is taken down by the assassin network that he has spurned.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna take a completely different tack here. I'm gonna go very simple. Just worn out and on the run. John Wick must face off against an old friend so he can settle things once and for all.
All right, I have a winner.
Oh,
okay.
This movie has some pretty fun trivias, but we don't.
Do you want to do some? It's always fun.
Want to do a fake tiebreaker?
We love our fake tiebreakers.
That's a great idea. Yeah, let's do a fake tiebreaker.
But if it could change the outcome, I'm very open to it. If I was not named the winner, if I am the winner, it should change nothing. So I want to be very clear about that.
So wait, say that again?
Okay, if I won, it changes nothing. If I didn't win, I want the tiebreaker to possibly change who won.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I expected.
Yeah. I assume Diggins feels the same way.
I actually feel the opposite. If I did win, the tiebreaker should change the outcome. But if I didn't win, then it shouldn't.
Okay.
Oh
Ooh.
my God.
Okay. I'm just.
Conundrum.
This is going to be. I have to make a matrix to keep track of this. Here's the big tiebreaker. Keanu Reeves has the lowest word count, apparently, according to this, ever spoken by a main character in a movie. That can't be true, but this is the number of words he says. I don't think Wall-E spoke fewer words than this, or like more words than this. But
right.
How many words, individual words, does John Wick say in John Wick Chapter 4? And list them all. No, just to give me a number. And I'll say
words?
Price is Right rules. Yeah, how many words?
All right, I'll go first. I'll say 112.
Okay.
You know, for some reason, you said Price is Right rules.
That's right.
The number that's popping in my head is 86, but to be safe, I'm going to cut it down to an even 50.
DJ wins. It's 300 and 380. So
Okay.
Damn.
Cool.
it's very few.
That's nothing.
There's no way 380 is the fewest words ever spoken by
it's
a
impossible.
main character. There's absolutely no way.
It's a very small amount, but it is not nothing. It's like I do think there's a lot of talking in this movie, but it really is just not him. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. It's not like it's a quiet or non-talky movie. It's just mostly it's not John Wick.
And there's so much exposition. Like we somehow get more Assassin Network exposition in this movie where I thought we couldn't have gotten any more.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like what's his name did was like there would be a scene like that first or maybe second scene. Well, I guess second scene after all the little kind of prologue stuff, where it's just Lawrence Fishburne has like a 2-minute long monologue about how cool John Wick is, and John Wick just
Yeah.
goes, yeah, and then that's the whole scene. So like, there's really not much to it in terms of like what actually happens, like what he says, but many things are said about John Wick.
Yes.
Also, DJ wins.
Woohoo!
DJ won very handily too. It was
very
compared to
What'd
what
I
Diggins
do?
said. Like, I don't think you got it really, really right, but you had it much closer than Diggins. I'll read it.
Okay.
John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the High Table, but before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe and forces that turn old friends into foes. So DJ had defeat the High Table, old friends, and just in general, kind of the wordiness of it was closer than Diggins. Diggins, you were on the right track. You had a couple things, but none of the things you had were things DJ did not have.
I
like the summary. I think it's a good summary.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's like as confusing, not confusing, but it's as kind of vague as these movies kind of are. Where like this could honestly be the summary for 3, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
the other thing that I did want to point out, this wasn't a trivia, but kind of. I don't know. I just found this, but I think it's funny. The FAQs for this movie, one of them is just, where was John's dog throughout the film?
With the cab guy, right?
Apparently, yeah, the Bowery King.
Yeah.
There's so many characters in this that are like,
oh my god,
little one-off guys who it's like,
Oh, but that's because he has the dog at the end, right?
oh,
The
that's
Bowery
true.
King?
He does have it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I'm going to assume Jason Mantzoukas was playing with it, and that's why he's not in this movie. Because
We can only hope.
like in real life, like had the dog, so that's why.
yeah, he was on set every day, and they were like, "All right, Jason, it's time for your line where you describe John Wick for a minute." And he was like,
Oh,
I'm having
okay.
so much fun with this dog. And then they're like, all right, fine. We'll just cut it.
It's so interesting how much dogs matter in these movies, and not just the first one, like all of them. There's a dog in every movie, so I guess it's cool.
It's like Homeward Bound. There's a dog in every movie. That and John Wick. But you guys,
They're really basically the same movie. Yeah.
I mean, they're similar. They both have an older one and a younger one and a cat.
Yeah.
The cat is sassy. He is both named sassy and acts sassy. That's all I got. I don't
What
remember.
complex character writing?
I love those movies. You guys, we got to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. But first, Diggins has to describe the plot of John Wick Chapter 4.
Good
oh
luck.
boy!
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, you couldn't have had to do this no matter what, Nando.
I know, I'm just saying thank you because I saw this movie maybe a week and a half ago, so there are a lot of details I'm fuzzy on.
Diggins, unless we pulled out our marker and said, now, Nando, you have to do it because
Oh
of the
my
marker.
God, that's true. A
That's
marker
true.
would have done this. That's what that's for.
Because of that big favor we did for Nando that one time.
Yep.
Okay, so the movie starts with Lawrence Fishburne quoting a Bible passage and then asking John Wick if he's ready to kick ass. And John Wick's like, yeah. And then we cut immediately to John Wick killing the High Elder of the High Table or whatever. The Moroccan sheik we saw at the last movie.
Yeah, the guy from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, remember Wonder Woman had like a gang of dorks who didn't really do anything in the first movie?
Oh,
One of them was that
yeah. Totally forgot that shit.
guy. Yeah.
Anyway, but killing the head guy of the High Table hasn't actually changed anything. And so now the High Table has authorized the Marquis of something in France. I can't remember the full name.
The Marquis de Sade, obviously.
I don't think that's it.
The Marquis de Mark and the Funky Fresh Boys. He's been excommunicado since the 80s. They don't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, after what he did to that Vietnamese man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it changed nothing. They appoint the Marquis, whose main job is to kill John Wick, which has been the main job of everyone in the High Table for the past 5 years or whatever.
Yep.
Seemingly. So the Marquis has the New York Continental, where John Wick used to hang out, closed down and demolished in truly no time at all.
They were efficient.
I'm
They were
realizing-
efficient.
I'm realizing just now I meant to have a wheel chunk about this, and I didn't. Whoops.
Well, I'll take your marker if you want to add it to the wheel, but we'll require one whole marker.
No way. I'm saving that for when I need it.
Yeah, when you need me to kill somebody or something.
Yeah. And then, in an unbelievably prescient move, the Marquis kills Lance Reddick, and then the rest of the movie will be spent being sad that Lance Reddick is dead.
Insane.
In real life and the movie.
Yeah, for you guys, I saw it before, and I had to
That's
keep
true.
my mouth
yeah.
shut for a whole week and a half. Sorry.
Because you're a special boy who gets special privileges and gets to see movies early.
That's right.
so many
because I
markers.
gave them my marker.
Yeah.
I have a lot of markers. Every week before a new movie comes out, I do one assassination for the high table, so I could go see that movie early. I didn't do it for the Dungeons and Dragons movie because the movie was too early. It was like at 10 a.m., but the rest of them I do that.
You give them one name, and they give you one movie screening.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil who it is, but I am seeing Super Mario Brothers early, so everybody watch your backs.
Anyway, so Lance Reddick is dead, but he lets Ian McShane go for some reason that's sort of described later. But listen, guys, just when people explain why they do the things they do, they say something pseudo-philosophical that when you hear it, you're like, how wise. And then later you think about it, and you're like, I don't think that actually made any sense.
Would have been better if they killed that person.
100%.
And so that's just going to be the reason why anyone does anything in this movie. So just assume anytime you're wondering why did that person do it, they said something philosophical that doesn't actually make sense but sounds cool. So then John Wick is in Japan, in Osaka, hiding out with his old friend who runs the Osaka Continental. And then the same thing happens. A bunch of the Marquis de Carabas's boys show up.
Funky Fresh Boys.
Yeah, the Funky Fresh Boys show up, and they're like, tell us where John Wick is. And his old friend is like, no. And so they start shooting up the place. But also, the Marquis has called in a guy who, like John Wick, retired from the life, but still owes the table some stuff, who is Donnie Yen, playing a blind hitman John Wick type in this movie.
Get out. A blind guy? What? No.
But how does he do hitman stuff if he's blind?
Okay, but he's like actually cool, is the thing.
Pretty cool.
Like, I genuinely appreciate how... Well, we'll get to it later, but I like the stuff they do with him and his blindness, honestly. So Donnie Yen is also there, and he also knows this guy who owns the Osaka Continental, or manages it at least. I guess the High Table owns it.
It's so unclear.
So
I don't know.
Own
Well,
a
we'll talk
Continental.
about it.
It's true. Yeah, who can say? They have a big fight scene. John Wick escapes with the help of some random dude who's tracked him down in ways that, even though they allude to there being special ways he can do it, we never learn. But he helps John Wick because he's like, the price on your head isn't high enough for me to collect yet, so I'm going to help you until it gets higher. And he also has a little dog who he gave a special presentation to the High Table about why he should be allowed to use a dog.
A hero we all love.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So John Wick escapes. The Continental manager in Osaka is killed by Donnie Yen in front of his daughter, who gets very mad about it and swears revenge, tells John Wick that if he doesn't kill Donnie Yen, she will. And then this never comes up again for the rest of the movie, except for the post-credit scene. Which feels weird. Then John Wick goes and sees Ian McShane because... Lawrence Fishburne helps Ian McShane arrange a meeting, and Ian McShane is like, if you challenge the Marquis to a duel, then you'll be able to get out. And
but why, Diggins? Why? Why is that allowed?
Because of the old ways.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, everyone's favorite, the old ways.
But only if he's part of a family again.
Yeah.
And the Ruska Roma, which means like Russian Roma, as in, the minority group that is often discriminated against. So... kind of a weird name for them, I think. Are they literally Roma? Is that the idea?
We've kind of gotten some information about them in the past, like because this is what his family used to be.
Yes, this is the family he was in previously.
And we saw them in the third movie with the ballerina people.
Yes.
And his ticket got ripped up because he needed to find the High Table.
Correct.
So he got his ticket ripped.
So, I didn't get I don't know. I guess they were Russian-ish or something. I don't remember this word used to describe them either, but maybe I missed it.
Anyway, he shows up. They're like, why should we help you? He's like, because I get to do a cool duel if you help me. And they're like, that does sound sick. All right, kill this guy and we'll help you. But it turns out they betrayed him, except maybe that was part of the plan the whole time?
Yeah, I don't know.
So he shows up and Scott Adkins is there in a fat suit, and it kind of rules.
Fucking incredible.
It does rule. And fake gold teeth. That's it. Yeah. Like, it's the amazing combination of those things.
Scott Adkins is there, and he does a little poker game for John Wick, Donnie Yen, and Mr. Nobody, who is the guy who helped John Wick in Osaka.
Dogman.
Wait, is that really his name?
What?
Mr. Nobody?
Mr. Nobody?
Well, that's what they call him. He's like, yes, Mr. Nobody.
I only remember him as the tracker, but you're right. That is what yeah. Oh, it's weird because isn't that what Kurt Russell's name is in the Fast and Furious movies? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Who at this point has been officially hired by the Marquis for a price they agreed upon. But also he acts like he hasn't been hired, and later they negotiate a new price, and he still helps John Wick mostly at this point. So I don't really know what's going on there.
No one does.
Yeah. Especially because you don't have to get hired. This is a
right. You can just do it.
He's involved in before.
This is an open contract. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. They do a silly card game. Scott Adkins fixed it because he's good at cards, and is going to have them all killed, but they're all really cool guys who fight good. So actually they escape. Scott Adkins tries to run away, but he has a sick fight in a club with John Wick that ends with him being tossed off a railing and smashing his head on a stone floor. Pretty brutal.
It's a shame because it's the only spin-off from this movie that I want. Maybe we can do an origin story for that guy, but I don't give a shit about the ballerinas or the Continental. I want him. Does this character have a name, by the way? I can't remember.
They did give him a name. I don't remember it.
I'm on the Wikipedia page. What's the actor's name? Scott Adkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Killa.
Oh, that's what it was?
Apparently, yeah.
They said it with such thick accents every time because he's fake German.
Yep.
John Wick gets given this job by fake Russians that I thought it was something that made more sense.
Mm-hmm. I think he is given another name that's his title. Like, they describe him as something else, but when, I guess, on his driver's license it says Killa. I don't know.
He goes back to the Rusko Roma, and they're like, all right, cool, we're going to brand our crest onto your arm, which you don't have right now, so I guess is a new thing we've started doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because she didn't have one either.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I'm like, do they need a new person each time for the branding?
Oh, maybe. Well, is she, like, in charge of it, or is she just the one that knows John Wick?
I think she's in charge now because Uncle Piotr's dead.
Right, yeah.
Uncle Piotr was her dad, and he got killed because of John Wick.
Right.
Which the movie keeps bringing up. John Wick, your quest for revenge has been really stupid and gotten so many people you care about killed. Mm-hmm. And you might think, is this going to be a theme of the movie? And the answer is, not really.
Yeah.
The answer is, don't worry about it.
The answer is, they'll bring it up, but they never really think about it.
Yeah.
So now that he has his ticket, Ian McShane delivers his formal duel request to the Marquis, and Ian McShane is his second. So if John Wick wins, he gets his hotel built again, and he stops being excommunicado. Oh, this whole time Clancy Brown's been around, by the way. The way that the hotel got demolished is Clancy Brown showed up, said, "You've been summoned," and places a big dumb hourglass on Ian McShane's desk, and it's like, you have 1 hour to get out before this place explodes. Honestly, it rules.
Yeah.
And Clancy Brown's just kind of around saying cool stuff in his deep voice. So they get that all set up. The Marquis accepts, but is like, but Ian McShane, if you lose, then you also die. Or if John Wick loses, you also die. So they have a meeting where they play a silly little card game to arrange the details of the duel, which will be the next day at sunrise with pistols. And then John Wick goes to hang out with Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne for the night. But the Marquis is a tricksy fellow, and he's like, why would I play fair when I can cheat? So firstly, he has Donnie Yen act as his proxy for the duel. So John Wick will actually be fighting Donnie Yen, not the Marquis. And secondly, he has the requisite scene in any John Wick movie where he puts out a call to all the warriors.
Mm-hmm. That was actually cited as one of the inspirations for this movie. Another trivia thing.
The Warriors?
The Warriors, yeah.
That is The Warriors is great.
Yeah.
My favorite movie reference in this one is Barry Lyndon.
What's the Barry Lyndon reference?
The parts of the duel.
Oh.
Although the one in Barry Lyndon is much funnier.
Interesting.
I'll get to it when we talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he puts out a call to all the warriors and puts a huge price on John Wick's head if they can stop him from getting to Sacré-Cœur, Sacred Heart in French, which is a big famous church up a bunch of flights of stairs in Paris, where they are. Every scene, just imagine it took place in front of some famous Paris landmark. Either they were in the Louvre, they're in front of the Eiffel Tower, or they're in Sacré-Cœur. It's one of them.
Yeah.
So if these guys could stop John Wick from getting to Sacré-Cœur by sunrise, so that he automatically forfeits the duel, then they get the bounty. So John Wick fights through a bunch of guys. Mr. Nobody successfully negotiates again for even more money, because the Marquis is getting desperate when all his warriors fail. And so Mr. Nobody is like, I'm going to fight John Wick. Does that for 2 seconds. And then John Wick saves his dog's life. And it's like, never mind. I'm not going to do that anymore.
I mean, come on. He saved his dog.
We'll get to
but
it.
They don't.
All right, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So John Wick makes it to the steps of Sacré-Cœur. But right when he's almost at the top, he gets tossed down, all 222 of them, by the Marquis' right-hand man from either Portugal or Brazil. He's speaking Portuguese. And John Wick is like, oh no, I have failed. But then Donnie Yen shows up and is like, I want this duel to happen, John Wick. So let's do a cool fight scene up these stairs. And they do. Then...
and it rules.
It does rule. That's true. So they have the cool fight scene. The dog bites the Portuguese man's nuts off.
Yep.
Good boy.
And then Donnie Yen and John Wick make it to the duel on time. And they have a big, slow duel, like classic dueling pistols duel. You go out 30 paces, you take one shot. If you're both still alive, you get closer and take another one. They both keep hitting each other, but only in like the shoulder or the arm. But then John Wick gets shot in the tummy and like falls down and is dying. And the Marquis is like, ha 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 ha, I have won. I am claiming the right to finish him off. So he takes Donnie Yen's place in the duel. After he promises Donnie Yen that what the table has on Donnie Yen is that his daughter exists. She doesn't appear to be in the high table, but I guess she's a valid target because he exists and is in the high table. Again, it's not super clear. But anyway, he basically says like, yeah, you're free and your daughter's off limits.
I think she's in play because he was near her or something and like broke a rule.
I don't know.
But
yeah, so he gets that. So Donnie Yen gives up the gun, and Marquis like, aha, I shall kill you, John Wick. But Ian McShane goes, Marquis. He never actually fired in that round, and he has to fire before you're allowed to fire again. So John Wick just like gets up while he's dying and is like, eat suck a dick, dumb shit, and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, pretty metal.
So John Wick wins the duel. He's free. Ian McShane gets his hotel back. Donnie Yen also gets what he wants because the Marquis promised, and Clancy Brown is a rules guy. But John Wick is still dying. So he has some final moments with Ian McShane and then goes to watch the sunset and dies. Ian McShane brings his body back to New York, where he's buried with his wife. He and Lawrence Fishburne are like, I'm going to miss John Wick. And Lawrence Fishburne goes, I'm going to miss John Wick too. And then they walk away. And that's the end of the movie until the post-credits scene, where, Donnie Yen is going to see his daughter now that he's free, but the Japanese daughter from the very beginning of the movie, who I said never shows up again, shows up here with a box cutter to get her revenge, and that's where the movie ends.
Oh.
yeah, that's a great summary. I don't think there's anything we forgot or that was forgotten.
I mean, I glossed over most of the action scenes just because I'm describing the plot, and while they're really cool and the best part of the movie, they don't really matter for describing what happens.
What? Best part of the movie is all the fucking rules. No one follows. That's the best part of these. But, I mean, I guess we'll see what DJ thinks the best part is, because he won, so he gets to give his little review of this movie. What did you think of John Wick Chapter 4?
Oh, I think this movie absolutely rules. Like, I love this movie so much. I think it's a good send-off for the character of John Wick, who, you know, is basically dead so now. Yeah, I loved it. I love all these movies. I think, like, you know, action scenes are great. It's like the interesting camera work they do. Like, my favorite scene is where they're in this like building when the warriors are chasing John Wick, and like one of them has like a gun that shoots fire, and like it's an overhead shot of him going through the different rooms, like shooting this fire gun, and it's amazing. It's like, it's so good. Just like visually, and like a fun thing to include. I have nothing to say about this movie. It's like 3 hours, but it doesn't feel it. It's a tight 180. Wait.
Yeah, it's two tight 90s.
Yeah, it's too tight.
It's not quite 3 hours, but it's close.
Yeah, it's up there. I think it's 247 if I remember correctly.
It's basically 3, right?
By the way, DJ, those dragon's breath shells that shoot fire exist. They're real.
I love that. So yeah, it's really cool. I had a great time. Like, you should definitely see it if you're a fan of these movies. You will definitely enjoy it. And I had a great time and I loved it. And I am sad that John Wick is gone. Part of me is like, is he gone? Like, he is. Like, I know that he is, but I'm like, is he though?
We'll talk about it, but I'm not so convinced.
Me neither. So, but anyway, I'll stop going on about how much I loved it, and I will just say that I loved it so much, and then I will pass it off to Diggins.
Guys, I have a dark and terrible secret.
What is it?
My dark and terrible secret is that I don't care that much about animals.
I don't think that's a secret, man. I think we all know.
Yeah, it's definitely come up on the podcast before.
I know. Listen, it's for the bit.
You care about one animal. It's that goddamn whale. It's the only one you've ever loved.
I only care about animals that aren't real.
The anti-imperious whale who we all stand. That's the only whale that matters to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tulkan. There you go. That's on DVD this week, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
But not Blu-ray, weirdly.
No, they're not going to. It's only in theaters. You can watch it. DVD is it's James Cameron's way of punishing people who don't see it in theaters.
Right.
Exactly. So I don't care that much about animals. I mean, I wasn't like one of those little kid sociopaths who tortured them or anything. I don't want animals to get hurt, but I don't care that much when they do, if I'm not involved. Which is to say that while I can recognize that the first John Wick is a great movie, and I very much enjoyed it, I simply did not have the visceral reaction necessary to think John Wick is the good guy in that movie. To me, it was a situation where a shit kid did a shitty thing to one guy, and his dad was like, oh man, I'm sorry, like, this sucks. Can I make it up to you? And John Wick responds by killing everyone he's ever known.
Yeah. Diggins, you were on the side of Alfie Allen's character. You were like, he should have been able to harass those women at the gas station. John Wick got involved, and he got what he deserved.
Alfie Allen sucks. I don't think 200 people needed to die because he sucked.
Can I say something, Diggins?
What?
So I remember that, not soon after the first John Wick came out, or I don't know the exact timeline, but at some point I was like, Michelle, you should watch this John Wick movie. And she's like, I don't really like action, gun, bang, bang, bang movies, da-da-da. I'm like, no, listen. You'll really relate with the character. And this is like a movie that like you should watch because, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just like, go for it, right? Because man gets dog, take it from him. And for those who don't know, Michelle loves dogs. Like her handle on Instagram and Twitter is Lady of Doggos. She finished that movie and was like, I never related more to a fictional character than I did with John Wick. Like, people who love dogs, are like, yeah, John Wick's the best fictional character ever.
Yeah, I get it.
So it really resonates with some people.
I get it. I'm saying this is a personal foible of my own.
Okay.
But because of that,
You're in the minority.
I've always had a fundamental problem with relating to John Wick in the John Wick movies. And feeling like he's the hero here. And that has kind of tempered my enjoyment of the John Wick movies.
Well, how about when you get to the second movie and beyond, where it's now all about the Assassin Network? That doesn't do it for you?
Then there's nothing to care about. I may not super relate to John Wick in the first movie, but I get the idea. It's like, oh yeah, he lost the last connection he had to this wife that he loved and this normal life he was trying to build, and it sends him over the edge into this revenge quest. That's a comprehensible arc that I can follow and be like, that was a good movie. And I like all the other John Wicks. Let me clear up the drama right now. I like this movie.
Well, yeah, because as much as you hate animals, you love gold coins, and these movies
and
get
markers.
more gold coiny and less animally as they go on. You love it when a character takes a gold coin and hands it to another character and something happens. Doesn't matter what, something. You're on board.
But yeah, so listen, John Wick's dog died was not enough to carry me through the first movie. It's certainly not enough to carry me through the fourth movie, when they still haven't given him any other motivation.
Well, I feel like now he's trying to get out. It's like a little different, right?
Well, but it's all
it's not about.
It's all reactive, though. It's not like there's nothing new, and they even give him stuff. Like in this one, the old friend in Japan dies, and the daughter is like, "You got to get revenge on Donnie Yen, or I will." But it doesn't actually have any impact on him. It doesn't seem to weigh on him at all. It's all just like very flat. And that in addition to the stuff Nando's alluding to, where the movies get more and more focused on lore as they go on, instead of on like character dynamics like the first one. So I have a hard time having a stronger opinion about a John Wick movie than it's fine, which is pretty much where I land with this one. The action scenes are incredible. Like, they are extremely well directed, well choreographed. The stunt teams are knocking it out of the park. The action scenes look great. But everything else around it is just kind of not for me in a way that makes it hard for me to get that excited by them.
Interesting.
So that's where I'm at. This movie is good, and if you like the other John Wicks, you'll like this one. But because of who I am as a person, I just don't get that excited about John Wick.
Wow.
Okay.
What about you, Nando?
So I said this in my little review of it that I put out on the Nando Cut channel. I think we are in Fast and Furious 8 territory here.
Oh, no!
Where, like, the first John Wick movie is about John Wick stealing VCRs, and now he's fucking flying into space and killing God. And it's not that I dislike that, but I prefer that first thing. I think the fun of the John Wick movies for me, where John Wick knows to dive underwater because he doesn't get shot because of the water and bullets and stuff. And he's just like this incredible assassin who goes into a room and the room is full of throwing knives and he has to kill everybody with those. Then he started jumping out of windows and shit. And I don't say he lost me. He really lost me when he got the coat that blocks bullets. And they all just go like wave their arms in the air and that means they're fine. I think, like, there's something, like, the craft of these John Wick movies is incredible, but the problem is, to up the ante, they have to give this guy just more insane things he can do, and, like, I think the stair fight is a good example of something in this movie I don't really vibe with, because it's just a lot of stuff. But it's not a lot of, like, I don't know, it's just not, it's just stuff, like, okay. I like the lore of these movies. I would watch a whole movie of the lore because it's so dumb and it takes itself so seriously. No movie in a franchise currently running has this much. There's no way, not even Marvel, but like no one else could make a movie like this where Simon Pegg doesn't come up and go, "Oh my God, it's weird that you're paying for this with coins." But like they're just, even the Mission Impossibles have that level of kind of self-awareness and like irony that this movie just refuses to have, and it is very charming. But like, I don't know. I think the John Wick movies, it was clear after 2 that they were approaching where we are now with them, and it's like, it's just not for me. I think the bits with nunchucks and the bits in Osaka rule, the bit with the Scott Adkins rules, and everything else I'm like 50-50 on. I do think that there's parts, this is a 3-hour movie that feels like it could be cut down to a 2-hour movie that I'd prefer. There's certain characters that I think you could write out completely, and that would be great in general. But that's just what this decided to be. And I do think like some of this stuff. See, it almost feels like what they do is they storyboard a bunch of cool action scenes, and then go, how can we make these all string together? What can happen to do this thing? And it's like, we want to do the shot where they shoot Roman candles at each other. Like, we want to do that house thing. But it's like, well, how can he do that and then do the car thing afterwards? I don't know. He just fucking jumps out a window and is fine. But also, yeah, the things that do and do not hurt John Wick in these movies have gotten kind of weird to me. I don't know. I like Ian McShane a lot. I don't think he's in enough of this one for me. And I don't care for Bill Skarsgård's character. And I think a lot of the movie hinges on that. Like, just switch him and fucking Scott Adkins. Make him the bad guy. He's great. And like, I could not do, and maybe it is like we got so little of him that it was like, it felt so special. But I think like this movie is technically very impressive. It's definitely not my favorite John Wick movie. It has some of my favorite fight scenes in a John Wick movie, but it also just like, it feels like trying to eat one of those humongous like banana splits at like a restaurant at the shore where you get a free picture on the wall or something if you eat the whole thing, whereby like the 3/4 point, you're ready to throw up. Not because it's bad, but because it's just too much. I prefer a nice little one. But that's just me. Yeah. Can
I say one thing in response, Nando? Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of your points are well taken. I do think the one I would agree with the most is which I know we'll talk about, like the invulnerability of John Wick. By the end of the movie, there were people in my theater just going like, "Come on!" Like they were just like so like mad that John Wick is now like Goku. Like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
He really can like. I do think the Mission Impossible movies did a really good job of this, of like upping the ante without upping Ethan Hunt's like because his kind of thing is he always has like the skills for whatever. It's all just kind of really, really hard. They can manage it by just like doing a new one, but this time he rides a motorcycle off a cliff or whatever. And, like it's not impossible. It's just something that we haven't thought of before. But with this, it feels Fast and Furious, where like he has to control the cars with his mind by a certain point. And also, yeah, I care more about every other character in this universe. I want to know what the guy in this, what the lady who does radio broadcasts, what her day is like. Like that, all that back of house stuff of these movies I find fascinating. All the Osaka characters I'd prefer to spend a whole movie with, but not because I think they're that
you might get to.
I mean, not the one I want, but maybe we'll get a different one. But like, yeah, I want to see what the sumo wrestler guys do all day. And like, I appreciate Keanu Reeves. I appreciate that he seems to have willed this franchise into existence just based on the fact that he is cool and is pretty good at stunts. But yeah, I think we need a not like a reset on this, because I know they're doing 2 spin-offs. We're getting the Continental, which last I checked had Mel Gibson in it. I'm not sure if that's still on. I know. Father Stu's own. It's going to be a church now. But then the other one is the Ballerina, which is starring Ana de Armas. And like that, I think they're filming currently, or if not currently, they're going to start soon. And like, if they kind of start back at the floor where the first one was, I could see that being right up my alley. But yeah, it's tough. Remember the third one when like the bad guys had special body armor? And they do this in this one, where like the goal was you have to like shoot them a couple times to stun them and then pull up their mask and then shoot them in the like throat, because that's their
like a video game.
Yeah, it becomes a video game. And it's this movie, they really embraced that in a way that I liked. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I have a wheel, you guys. The high wheel.
Yeah, hold on. What are all the rules of the wheel? Can you explain them to me?
The rules of the wheel are I'm going to spin the wheel. And the wheel is going to come to a stop, and we're all going to be really quiet.
Wait, but what if I give you the gold doodly bob while the wheel is spinning?
If you do that while the wheel is spinning, I'm not going to stop the wheel, but I am going to give it another spin. So it may change what's going to happen with the wheel. But when the wheel stops.
But what if while I'm giving you the gold doodly bob, DJ comes in and says, "Actually, Diggins, I'm calling in my marker on your gold doodly bob," which means you have to replace it with the silver Sneckmick.
Then I spin the wheel in the other direction. The wheel goes in the other direction, but with the same amount of force. So things will be different.
Okay.
Now after that, the wheel stops, and then we all are very quiet, and then some guy with 4 fingers is going to come in and read what is on the wheel, and then we're all going to talk about it. And then we'll do it again and again and again until we're tired from it and everyone's done.
But wait, Nando, what if DJ nominates Michael Caine to act as his second in the middle of a discussion?
As he always is, by the way.
Yeah, how is he not in this movie? How has he not been? Is he just too...
But he's too in his 90s, probably.
Yeah, but that's never... Like, I don't know, some of the other people in these movies are pretty... Ian McShane's like an older gentleman, right?
He's in his 90s, though.
All right, let's look it up. He is 80.
Wow, he looks good.
Yeah, so he's not in his 90s, but he's like, I could just see a scene where like, I mean, maybe he is like the president in these movies or something. We still haven't seen anybody at the high table besides the Wonder Woman guy who is dead. So I feel like we'll have to eventually, or not. Maybe we never will. I kind of prefer that, actually. But you guys, I'm going to spin the wheel. Here we go. Get your markers and your doodly bobs and your things to all ready. Spin the wheel. Tick, 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 tick. Okay, this landed on one of mine, and I'm glad we're starting here because this is very important. This is the question I had right as I sat down before the movie started. Wait, so what happened in the last one? So what happens in John Wick 3? Because I don't remember, and by the end of this movie, I still don't really know.
Okay, he... in that movie, goes on a quest to become unexcommunicado, because at the end of 2, he's excommunicado.
Right.
So he goes on a series of whatevers. He has to cut his ring finger off because that's what he had to give to the guy, the man who sits above the table.
Yep.
Oh God. And this is like a worse IMDb summary of like the third movie. So he has to do that, and there's a fight in the end with like swords.
That's
and
right.
Is this more like the Continental? Yeah, the Continental faces off against the high table.
Yeah.
But then at the end, Ian McShane shoots John Wick to prove his loyalty, and then he is rescued by the homeless network that also
the Pigeon Man
exists in this movie. Yeah.
But like in the end of the last movie, right? Because this is what I thought too. I was like, I'm pretty sure in the last movie, him and Ian McShane were friends, and then Ian McShane shoots him because it's the rules. But it's clear that he did that to keep John Wick alive. What we find out in the beginning of this movie is Pennywise is like, it's clear that you did that to keep John Wick alive. That doesn't count. And it's like,
right?
Why did we do it then? Why are we doing any of this? Like, I don't know. That part was confusing. The other part that was confusing to me is, so John Wick, why does he go from being excommunicadoed to cuts off his ring finger, and then he becomes bad again to the high table?
Well, because
he killed the head of the man who sits above the table.
No. But in the third movie.
In the third movie, him cutting off his ring finger was just what he had to do to be given a second chance, and that second chance was go kill Ian McShane for helping you, and then you'll be allowed back in. But he didn't do that. He teamed up with Ian McShane to fight them instead, and then at the end, Ian McShane betrayed him and is like, I'll take his offer to go back in instead. So at the end of the movie, John Wick is still out because he didn't kill Ian McShane.
Is John Wick like the worst assassin ever? In terms of just like killing the person he's supposed to kill? 'Cause I'm pretty sure in the second movie, he's also supposed to kill somebody he doesn't end up killing.
No, he does. He does kill her, but then the guy who used his marker betrays him anyway because he's a little shit.
Yeah, that's right. These movies are weird.
Yes.
And Donnie Yen was never in one of these before, correct?
Nope.
Okay. What happened to Peter Serafinowicz? Did he die?
Who was that?
He's the guy who's like, John Wick, here's your gun. He was like the tick.
Oh, yeah.
He used to work at the hotel, right?
I guess.
I bet he died. Maybe
recall.
they didn't tell him to leave the hotel before it all exploded.
Well, listen, if my boss suddenly came in and was like, you have an hour to evacuate, I'd be like, well, I gotta get out of here. But I wouldn't think, I have to get out of here in an hour or I will be in an exploding building and die.
Oh, you're
yeah, right.
I'd be like, wow, it's going to take me maybe 10 seconds to get out of this building. I got 59 minutes to kill before I get to watch the building explode or whatever's happening. Especially if you work there. You'd be like, the building's exploding or something. This is some bullshit. It's
part of the employee handbook.
Yeah.
If we ever become deconsecrated, the building will explode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to go hang out with the guy from Pennywise, and then he's going to do some stuff and not kill me.
I do love all the Catholic imagery and language in this stuff, because it really makes me think that maybe the high table just is the Catholic Church.
Right?
Maybe maybe the head of the high table is just the Pope.
Maybe it's the young Pope, Jude Law. Maybe this is a crossover with the young
Pope. If only. Oh, did you guys get a trailer for that movie, The Pope's Exorcist?
No, but I've seen posters for it, and I don't know if it's a joke or real. Is it real? I guess it's serious.
I mean, I watched the trailer. It seems serious.
Oh, no.
I had the best possible experience, which is I watched the trailer, and at one point a man said, Russell Crowe, Jekyll and Hyde's own, says, what would happen if the devil possessed the Pope's exorcist? And then the title shows up, and it's The Pope's Exorcist. And like,
not even the Pope?
Yeah, like, that's scarier.
I don't know. I know. That's where I thought that sentence would end. At the Pope. But no, The Pope's Exorcist.
That would be so funny, though, if the Pope just came out to do his, like, daily mass, and he started vomiting green goo, and everyone, I guess this is what Catholicism is now. This is what he's doing.
Well, that's why we have a Pope's Exorcist for situations like these.
Yeah, so what if the Pope got demon, and then also the Exorcist got demon? And what if a demon possessed the Pope's exorcist?
Oh, no.
We'll never be able to get the first one out.
I have a quick question. Did you guys
movie.
get the trailer for Racist Jumanji?
You mean Jumanji?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't think I saw that. I didn't get any trailers.
Because you're the special
Diggins, did you get this trailer?
Special people, yeah, exactly. I had to give so many markers to skip the trailers.
I got there a little bit late, so I missed a couple trailers. I did not see this one.
What's Racist Jumanji?
It's like, all right, let me get the actual... so the name, it's...
Journey to the Center of the Earth 2, The Hidden World, or whatever that one was called.
Oh my god, did I have a fever dream?
You do dream about racist Jumanjis a lot. Like, you'll call me every morning in a hot sweat.
I got it.
Guys, I did it again.
It's called The Blackening.
Oh, wait, why? Oh, Jumanji, because it's a game. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they reference it in the movie. They're
Yeah.
like, what? Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this trailer. I'm excited for this movie.
Do you know what this is, Diggins?
No, I did not see this trailer, and I've never heard of this.
What do you think it is? If you had to
Yeah,
guess?
well, it's called The Blackening, and I said racist Jumanji, so that's all the
racist
information.
And I was
Jumanji.
like, that really doesn't seem like Jumanji, but then I was like, oh, I get it.
A bunch of white kids play a video game that sucks them into the video game where they all turn out to be black kids.
No, but I
and
want
have
that
to do
one
black
too.
kids.
That sounds so funny. Robert Downey Jr. plays all 4 black people. No, it's actually an old, not old, but like an old-ish sketch where it's like, and the sketch was called The Blackening, I think. I don't know who did it. So I don't think it was like an established group, but it's like it's a bunch of friends staying in the cabin. They're all black, and then there's a killer who's going to kill them all, but they can't figure out who's going to die first, like because they're all black. That's the original joke of the thing. Of the sketch. Yeah. Apparently, they turned it into a whole movie.
In this, they have to play a board game, which appears to be like racist Jumanji.
Yeah.
It's like, determine amongst you who is the least black or whatever.
Right, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
That's the first bit.
Okay,
It's self-aware, and like it seems funny. I'm excited for that, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of got like Get Out vibes, but like if Get Out was the comedy that I think it was pitched as, before Jordan Peele decided it was going to be an actual horror movie. So, yeah. I love calling it racist Jumanji, though. Like,
Yeah.
It feels like such a different kind of movie.
It sounds like the
what
movie
Dickens
I
is-
just, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
man.
I brought us all on this trailer tangent. You were talking
It's
about John
okay.
Wick, Nando.
Oh, right.
It's worth it.
Was I? I think so. All I could say is, I really don't remember what I was saying.
It was about the hotel blowing up.
Oh yeah, the hotel blew up. That was cool. It's a big deal, right? Like,
I don't know, because they're about to blow up 2 hotels in like a single day. How many Continentals does the high table have to go through?
did they blow up the second one though, or did they just kill everyone in it?
Well, I assume the plan was to blow it up, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
then why send your assassins? Send your bomb.
I also have to know, did they have just like a direct line to all the permitting and demolition
Yes.
teams in New York that they could set this up in an hour? Or have they been like planting bombs and getting permits and everything for weeks and Ian McShane just didn't notice?
Yeah, maybe these buildings are all built with bombs in them. Should you ever become deconsecrado, then the building gets blown up.
So then also, secondary question, does this appear to be a scheduled, normal maintenance demolition, which you are notified about for weeks on end, and like the police clear out the area, etc., before it happens? Or does New York City just think a terrorist attack happened?
It's got to be that second one.
Well, but Diggins, you saw the, I guess, second movie with the scary Central Park flash mob. Like, they could do anything.
Well, yeah, and this was, I spun the wheel again, landed on another one of mine. Everybody who's not an assassin, raise your hand. Okay, great. Yeah, like, the stuff like this happens. Obviously, the bit at the roundabout at the end of the movie, like, I'd like to see a movie about the cop who has to try to figure out what the hell this all is. Because, like, it's insane. And so much of it's public. I could be wrong, because I can't remember if it's actually that or it looks like it. Is the Continental the Flatiron building?
It looks like it.
I
don't, as someone who once worked near there for a couple years, I don't believe that it is, because that's by Madison Square Park, and there's no park in that shot.
But like, this feels like one of those buildings that would also be like a historic New York landmark. But also, like, does that mean you can't go there? Could we get a room at the Continental? I think we've brought this up before. But, like, this movie does get way more public with some of it. And it's just, like, it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't need to make sense, but it's, like, it's just what is real in this universe and what's not.
How many, high-end luxury assassins can the world sustain?
Yeah, right? Like, and the thing with them, it's never, maybe it was once, hey, John Wick, kill the president of, Malaysia or whatever. Like, because of some sort of textile thing, whatever Zoolander was doing in Zoolander. It's always kill the other assassin who broke our law of assassins. Like, it feels like these guys are so insular. Like, it's a very big group, but it's a very small circle. And it's like, if all of them just stopped assassinating, the whole thing would end. There's no assassins otherwise. Where are there? Is John Wilkes Booth part of this? Like, are any of the famous
John
assassins
Wick's
of history?
Booth?
Ooh, that's right.
Do you think that this is a 2,000-year-old conspiracy, like The Most Dangerous Game?
Like, yeah, kind of. Honestly, it seems like The Most Dangerous Game makes more sense and put a little bit more thought into it. Like, like John Wick falls out of a window, right, onto the street.
Yeah.
And just, like, walks away, which is fine. But, like, there's so many people around in a lot of these shots, and none of them seem to care. So I do think this is happening everywhere constantly. And it's just become kind of commonplace. You're like, oh, it's assassins. God damn it. I was trying to go across that street, but I guess there's a whole assassin thing going on, so I'll just wait.
There is, to my recollection, a single cop in the John Wick movies.
Yes.
Which is very early on in the first one. When John Wick's Doug gets killed, and like some police and an ambulance show up, a cop just goes up to John Wick and is like, "You working again, John?"
Yeah.
And that's the entire input from the police into the entirety of John Wick.
Yeah, that's the guy from the newsroom, Don. And he's like, yeah. And I think, is that after the dog gets killed, or is that after John Wick kills everybody in his house the next day? I think it's that second one.
I think it's the second one. Yeah,
it comes to like a whole thing of bodies and everything exploded. It's just like, okay. But yeah, like it's just so weird, this world. Because yeah, the Continental exploding is a humongous deal, but I do think
also, like, if they didn't tell people about that dust and debris is going in so many lungs, causing so much cancer.
Yep.
The high table's going to be paying out lawsuits for years.
Absolutely.
Well, they're good for
little
it,
gold
so
coins and stuff. You get to get one assassination for your thing, but you can only kill another assassin.
You get one free week at the Continental.
If you were
Continental Osaka, never mind.
If you were settling a injury lawsuit and the person you were suing offered you a gold coin you could use for one free assassination, would you take it?
Yes.
Ooh.
But I can't say who I would assassinate.
Yeah, don't make me follow up.
Someone, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it depends on what my alternative is. Like that or $1 million? I'll probably take the $1 million. But like, I'm sure I could find some use for an assassination token.
Well, Nando, that just proves that you're not on that grind set. If you were a real Sigma male, out there and doing the hustle, you would take the assassination coin and then you tell the assassin to assassinate you. So you can spend every day honing your skills, avoiding the assassin you hired.
That's right. That would be pretty cool, actually.
That's how you get $1 million.
That's definitely going to be in the next one of these. Some bullshit where, like, I accidentally did my own assassination or something. But, yeah, I mean, like, trying to think, is that the most bonkers thing that happens in this movie, the Continental, that, like, should be on the news?
I think more of the stuff in Paris is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild that in a world of cell phones, by the way, like, it's weird because assassin technology is like fucking sand, like hourglasses and, fucking ham radios and everything in the assassin world is so old. This movie should be taking place in like 1950. It's crazy.
Yeah. I do think you could get away with a lot of stuff in the John Wickiverse. Like if you, let's say a lot of the Paris stuff especially. If you just had one or two people holding cameras, big film cameras, and then a couple of other people at the top and bottom of the steps be like, they're shooting a scene for a movie. And then just watch it all happen, and people would go, oh, cool, wow, yeah, what's it called? We're not sure, we're going to change the title a little bit, but Parabellum or something, I don't know. And because people would buy that, I think. People would eventually get cell phone video of John Wick and maybe start putting it together, but like that's the only way I think you could fake some of this. Or like convince people that it's not happening.
Yeah. You just gotta start gaslighting like crazy.
Yeah. See, by the way, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of mine. This one is just it's a word scream, which I'm not going to scream, but it's Bihan. My favorite actor is back. He's become my favorite actor in this movie. Mortal Kombat's own Hiroyuki Sanada. This guy, man. Did you guys recognize him?
Absolutely not.
He's in so much shit. So, like, I recognize him from other stuff. And, like I already knew who he was from Avengers Endgame, for example, where he does katanas with Hawkeye. But, like, he was in that. He's in Mortal Kombat. He's the guy from Army of the Dead who's trying to steal all the whatever the fuck that movie was about. Remember him? He says easy peasy Japanesey, and then the guy who's so woke says it's too woke or whatever. He's in Bullet Train. He's the guy.
Still haven't seen
He's
that.
the main guy in Bullet Train, pretty much. He's in The Wolverine, where he does a katana fight with the Wolverine. And
I'm sensing a theme.
And most importantly, he is in 2008's a little movie, you probably haven't seen it, called Speed Racer, where he plays Mr. Musha, Rain, the Korean pop star's dad. Who is bad or something. I honestly can't remember what happens at the end of the part with him. I think he's doing some sort of stock deal for engines. But anyway, this guy's great. I love him in this movie, and I'm noticing now he is the mark of like the movie's about to get good for a little bit. Also in Westworld, which I stopped watching, but I imagine he's in the Katana world or something.
Most likely.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the Osaka stuff?
Pretty good, I gotta say. I very much enjoyed it.
I agree.
I thought the scenes there were pretty good. I liked how they were building up the characters with Hiroyuki Sanada and his daughter and their relationship with John Wick. I was like, oh man, is this going to be a buddy journey for John Wick? This seems like it could be interesting. And then it never came up again. But while it was all happening in Osaka, I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah. I like that the Continental is a chain. It's not even just called something else.
Right?
It's Continental Osaka. So
Yeah, just like the Hyatt.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Assassin Network has to know,
Exactly.
right? What are we without brand recognition?
Do you think these are good hotels?
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt.
Do you think
look
they're good
very
for like
luxury.
people that aren't assassins? Like if we tried to get a room there.
Yeah, we'd love it.
I think they would be.
It seems awesome.
I think they would be very luxury, very high service. As long as you are there on a day where assassin stuff doesn't happen, then it's probably a great stay.
Which, like, according to the logic of this movie, should be most days. There's no assassin stuff happening.
It should be pretty much every day, because the whole rule is that you can't do assassin stuff in a Continental.
Exactly.
But
unless they decide it is.
I think every single movie breaks that rule.
The first one, does it?
That's
The
what
first
happens at
one-
the end of the first one.
The first one, the woman assassin tries to kill John Wick in the Continental.
That's right.
So John Wick doesn't break the rule, but the rule gets broken.
Wait, I thought John Wick does break the rule in 2.
No, second.
Oh,
Or in
two.
1. Yeah, you're
We're
right.
talking
That
about
is
1.
2. Yeah. So, the rules are meant to be broken. And that's what keeps all these guys in business, all your marquees and stuff like that. There were rules, then, what are we going to do? Defund the marquee? No. We need to keep everything. The system has to move exactly as it's already moving. I do think the bit with the nunchucks was probably my favorite individual fight scene that didn't have Scott Adams in it.
That was really
Or
good.
Scott
No.
Adkins, excuse me.
Scott
I wish
Adkins.
Scott Adams was in it. Oh my god, hypnotizing John Wick with his persuasion techniques and stuff. He might be a racist Jumanji, honestly. But yeah, I think besides the Scott Adkins fight scenes, I think this is my favorite fight scene because it's just like pure John Wick. He's in a room with a weapon. He's got to figure out how to use it to kill everybody in that room. Love it.
For me, one of my favorite fight scenes was the stuff with Donnie Yen in Osaka.
Yeah, Donnie M was also fun in
great.
Osaka. That I spun the wheel again, landed on another one of mine. Something Hannah asked me, I believe. Wait, is he blind in real life? Because he did this in the Star Wars movie, and he did the same thing.
Yeah.
And like, even I, who have seen him in other movies, am like, oh, is he actually blind? And they just don't. His Ip Man character just isn't. But like, because this is one of the weirdest. He's.
Yeah, so why is he blind?
If I had a
It doesn't make
nickel
any
for every
sense.
time, I'd have 2 nickels ones.
Well, he's blind in this movie because it's cool, DJ.
Exactly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and his bit in the Osaka. Do you want to talk about it, Diggins?
I would love to, Nando. So this is the first time we see Donnie Yen actually do some action stuff, because before he just talked to the Marquis. So at first he's just sitting around eating some noodles because he doesn't really want to do this. But the Portuguese man who works for the Marquis is like, you gotta go do some work. And Donnie Yen's like, fine. So he gets up and fights like the kitchen staff who are also assassins.
And sumo wrestlers or something.
And some I don't think he fights the sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, that's true. There are 2 sumo wrestlers, and I like that.
So what?
It's weird that... Sorry, just real quick. It's weird that Donnie Yen's like, well, no, my contract's for John Wick. Like, I
was
don't
gonna say-
care about these other people.
Yeah, when I was thinking about it, when I was watching it, I was thinking he'd go like, Marquis gave me a name and that name was John Wick. The rest of it's your problem.
Right? Was he
Yeah.
quiet quitting or something? Come on, Donnie, and you can go above and beyond and kill all the assassins and then John Wick. It's the only way we're going to get promoted to the high table.
But what I really like about this fight scene where he fights the kitchen staff is that a lot of the times when you have the trope of like blind guy who is so good at fighting that he can still do fighting even though he's blind, it's basically like the thing that he's really good at is fighting like he's not blind.
Yeah. He uses the Force to see, much like in the Rogue One movie.
Or uses his Daredevil powers to see.
Or his Daredevil powers, yeah.
And so it's like, it's technically impressive that a blind guy is doing this, but A, you know the person's not blind in real life, except for the rare occasions where they do hire a blind actor. And B, it ends up not being any different than if you had a non-blind character doing this. But Donnie Yen's character in this one frequently does act like he's blind and is making up for that with his fighting techniques.
Yes.
Like, he's constantly clanging his sword against stuff so that he can both know where he, like, not run into stuff. And I think he does it as a kind of, like, echolocation thing. Like, it helps him,
like,
quote-unquote,
like Daredevil.
see. Like, sure, like Daredevil.
Daredevil does that sometimes. He'll, like, walk in a room and clang something so he can get, like, a little radar of who's in the room and what they're behind and stuff.
Yeah. And then also, he very, like, when he throws someone or knocks someone away, he doesn't know where they went or, like, if they're down or not. So he has to, like, do stuff to check. And at one point in this fight, specifically, one of my favorite parts is there's a lull in fighting where he beat up all the guys who are here now and he's waiting for the new guys. So he gets out a bunch of, like, Amazon rings and sets them up throughout the kitchen so that when people come in, he hears the ding-dong and he shoots in that direction, and that's how he gets everybody. And then his fight with John Wick here in Hiroyuki Sanada's room of big ominous cubes is another one where it's like it really uses the fact that he's blind, and like a lot of the fight is him figuring out where John Wick is, like in the moment-to-moment fighting. I don't mean like a cat and mouse thing. I mean like literally they're like sword fighting or nunchuck fighting or what have you, and he is doing moves designed to let him know where John Wick is so he can do a follow-up move to actually hit him. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like when he asked him if he was dead.
Yeah.
It's like, John, you dead?
I do think with Donnie Yen's guy, and his name is Kane, which is funny. I hope it was his name. He chose it and not,
He did. Or at least he sort of did.
Ah, okay.
Because originally in the script, this character had a very like generic Asian name, like Chang, I think, and was supposed to wear like a Mandarin collar. And Donnie Yen came in and was like, signed on to the part and everything, and read that, and he was like, "Can we do something less than this?"
Yeah.
Can we do not this?
I meant I hope Donnie Yen's character in the movie was like, you guys can call me Kane. That would be nice. As opposed to like Bill Skarsgård's character going, "This is Kane, everyone." And everyone's like, "Oh, I guess because you're rich, you get to tell us what he calls him." But yeah.
What about you, DJ? What'd you think of Osaka?
Osaka was great. I think you guys hit everything that I liked about it. It had good setup. I liked the stuff with the daughter. It was very good. Oh, I also liked how John Wick's friend, who's the John Wick's friend who owns the Osaka Continental?
The main guy, her dad.
Yeah.
His character name is Shimatsu.
Cool. I liked how he handled everything. The duel between him and Donnie Yen. I just thought overall it was like a really, really fun, great scene. Yeah.
I kind of wish, and this isn't like, I wish, I think one of the things that's interesting about Donnie Yen is like, I do think it wouldn't be super hard for John Wick to kill Johnny Yen. He just really doesn't want to in all the fight scenes they're in. He wants to like do that kind of shoot you so hard you fall over kill. But like, in reality, he's like, I don't want to fucking kill Donnie Yen. He's cool. So Donnie Yen manages to skate by in some of these, but he does do a lot of stabs. He does really quick little stabs. That's his method for killing the scorpion.
Because he has a sword cane.
He does have a sword cane. And then the daughter has like little knives that she does little stabs with too.
Yeah, she stabs that one dude like 100 times.
Yeah, I think she got him the first 10, but
going up the stairs like that guy.
Yeah. That felt kind of like the dogs in the third movie, where it's like we have a technically impressive thing that we're just going to show you in one shot and get ready to watch it. And I'm like, am I watching a behind the scenes clip of this? Like, but it's It's cool. And yeah, I like that Kane's like, I don't want to kill you. It's not a good idea. And then the guy's like, no, it's very cool for me to die defending John Wick. Come kill me now. Daughter, you better be paying attention to this. I'm about to get killed by this guy. And then he does. Pretty cool. What do you think John Wick did for this guy back in the day?
Do you think he saved his daughter?
Foot massage.
Whoa, that good, huh?
He's the John Wick of foot massages. It would be incredible. It'd be so great.
I mean, you see how good he is with his hands.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Plus, these guys probably have really, like, calloused feet from all the backflips and stuff. So, like,
Yeah.
It's spending a lot of time running on, like, broken glass. You want good feet for that. But yeah, Donnie Yen's pretty cool. I spun the wheel again, you guys. And then on another one. This one's, by the way, I'm the tracker, and I'm here too. So there is another guy that's in this movie, and allegedly, well, they won't let you forget it. And I have nothing against him, but I do think in this 3-hour movie, he's my, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And it is a character, like you said, his name is Mr. Nobody, but he is referred to sometimes, and I believe on the IMDb page, as the tracker, and he's just some guy. One of the bazillions of guys that listens to the radio every morning to see if he has to kill somebody. And his whole thing is he has an amount of money that he will kill somebody for, and, you know, that's the whole deal.
Nando, I think you'll find his thing is also dog.
Oh, right. Yeah, his thing is dog, and like, in the beginning, I'm like, is that John Wick's dog? Because
I know, right? Because it's like that German Shepherd type. You're like, oh,
and he's not like dressed like everybody else in these movies is always dressed in the big giant like fancy bulletproof suit and stuff. And his dress, I'm kind of like, is he part of like what's his name's gang of guys? The Pigeon Man?
Yeah, I thought he was a Lawrence Fishburne guy there to look out for John Wick. That's what I thought at first.
But just a coincidence.
He has like big backpack body armor that could become front pack body armor.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It seems silly in a world where you can just make any piece of cloth bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I do feel like the thing with the cloth and stuff in the Fast and Furious problem is, like, it used to be, it would still hurt. You just wouldn't get shot. But it would be, you get shot while you're wearing that, and it's like, boom, you know, you fall back a little bit. But now it really is just like a water gun. And as long as you block your face, it doesn't count. It's like laser tag. But yeah, he's there. And in the beginning, I did like his bit. I think his bit is cool. That he's like, I'm going to protect the guy they're trying to kill for this much money until he gets to a price that I'm okay with, and then I'm going to do the murder. And that's pretty sick. But then he gets involved with the other guys for some reason. I don't really understand him in this movie in general. Like,
yeah, I honestly, as a character, he does nothing unless they were like, we need a person with a dog. Last time it was Halle Berry. This time it's this guy. But it's like, I don't know, have him be like a bit character, not like a main player whose existence like really matters for what happens in this movie.
Right, like how Halle Berry was like, she was in 2 scenes that were the Halle Berry scenes, and then you leave, and then it's how Scott Adkins was in his like
scenes.
Or,
I wonder,
or Ana de Armas in the James Bond movie.
That's right.
It's like, these are the Ana de Armas scenes, and then we're done.
I'm wondering if they were setting him up for a spin-off movie or show or something. He feels like that a little bit. Like, because even at the end, when everybody's together, we cut to him just like far off watching it all, and you're like, oh, right. Yeah, he survived this movie.
Why was he there at the end of the duel?
Want to see what happens.
What was he doing there?
Yeah, just wanted to see what happened. I think the crazy thing about that is that he's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's not part of the high table. So you'd think the high table people would be like, well, you can't just sit and watch if you're not part of us.
Right?
Right.
But, like, yeah, he's not part of the high table. He was doing marquee stuff until he wasn't at the very end, but I don't know if the marquee ever found that out. But, like, yeah, I feel like Clancy Brown at least should kind of know, like, what this dude's allegiances are. He gets the fucking most awful the only part of this movie that I did not enjoy was his little initiation bit, which, speaking of the hustle grind set, he really got the, like, you know, I feel like he got that. What was the question they asked him? You remember?
I don't.
Are you in or something?
Well, it's like the guy was like, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? Or something like that.
Oh, he's like,
was it?
If you pull the knife out, then that you can either pull the knife out or you can pull your hand out. One shows me that you're a beta
like
male, and one shows me that you're an alpha male. I don't know.
Yeah, like one is like, you think about yourself, the other is you think about us, your fucking family.
And I'm like, I don't know that much about this character, but I'm pretty sure he thinks about himself. That's what it seems like
Yeah.
his deal is. But for some reason, he gets real hustle grind set and goes in on it. And I mean, that part was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I agree.
covered my eyes. That was brutal.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I get the finger cutting off thing with the ring finger because it seems like Clancy Brown had that one too. Like that's part of their usual.
Yeah, he got ringed, so it would seem.
Yeah, he'll get John Wick Origins or something in like 10 years, played by like God. I don't
Who
know.
would you cast for that one?
Tom
I don't
Holland
know.
or something.
Who's playing
Chris
a
Pratt.
little baby on a sitcom right now?
Yeah, actually,
Young Sheldon.
yeah, little
Yeah.
young
Gonna be
Sheldon.
him.
Played by young Sheldon. That's
And
nailed it.
he's but yeah, I feel like this injury would make you a very bad assassin, or it would be a big like hindrance to your whole assassin thing.
Yeah, a lot of nerve damage, you'd imagine.
Yeah,
and it's-
that hand would be useless.
Yeah, like, and he just like, I don't know. I mean, clearly the Marquis doesn't think this through, but like, yeah, you want your assassins to be good at assassinating, I assume. Otherwise, don't bother. But whatever.
Also,
Or make it like a Abraham thing where he starts doing it's like, all right, we're
Right,
good, man. You
yeah.
proved it. Like, I don't actually want you to mutilate yourself. My goodness.
he cuts out. The way he cuts out is through the back of the knife, so it's not even
Yeah.
sharp that he's cutting open his
yeah.
hand with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's weird. Yeah, these movies love that though. Just like weird self-mutilation for the good of the family stuff.
Show your loyalty.
But also, he's not loyal later. He's like still disloyal. I just don't get this guy.
Not only still disloyal, but the movie basically acts like he didn't sign an agreement with the Marquis
Yeah.
earlier. Because when he's in Berlin, he's like, here's John Wick. And the Marquis is like, well, you got to kill him too. And he's like, oh, fine. And then he doesn't really try to kill him very hard. And then at the end, he's like, give me more money and I'll kill him. And then he also doesn't try that hard to kill him.
Yeah. It's such a weird character. And it's only weird because, he keeps showing up. Also, like, it's not like all the Marquis guys have some bizarre hand injury that they needed to do to get into the group. It just seems like him.
Then again,
Donnie Yen, who's like, he's going to tell you to do this, don't do this thing. Still doesn't have it.
He
Nando,
gave his
yeah,
eyes.
He gave his eyes.
Oh, right. So it's just whatever your thing is? Because I
guess.
was like, he's going to kill his dog then or something, and I was not accepting that.
Diggins would have been like, yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
Diggins would have been on the Marquis side for just that one.
It's like, yeah, I thought it was
Absolutely.
super live.
I would have been like, the dog's slowing you down. This is only for the good.
Also, we just did this with Halle Berry's person, so maybe we don't
Yeah,
need
it's
another
true.
dog command killer. I'd
Well,
be more
the-
interested in a squirrel or cat command killer or something like that. That's new.
Yeah, that'd be unique.
Well, the dogs didn't die in that one.
No, I mean, like, we had someone who would say, like, kill,
Like-
and then the dog would
Yeah.
go do it as, like, their gimmick. Because this guy doesn't really have a gimmick besides dogs.
Except for the dog, yeah.
Also, he's one of the only people in the John Wick universe who knows that shotguns exist.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, it's weird. His whole steez is weird. I don't think he really adds anything to the movie because his action scenes aren't that interesting and his character is nothing. And by the end of the movie, he's really not done much except be around. I think I can kind of see the shape of where he fits into this movie if this movie was better written.
Or if
Where-
Donnie Yen wasn't there.
Or, well, even if Donnie Yen was still
Yeah.
there, because they even try to like draw the parallels in the like card scene where the Scott Adkins is like, "Oh, one of you's looking to die, one of you's looking to live, and the other one's looking to kill." And it's like, he's the guy who's not involved yet, who's trying to get involved and not realizing yet what it would cost him to do that. But like the movie's not really about that. It never really draws on those themes at all, so it completely falls flat.
Yeah. Those words he said were pretty good, though, when he said them all like the way he did. That was pretty sweet.
My favorite one of those we'll get to later is by the Marquis because it's complete nonsense, even in the moment.
Which one is that? Oh, I guess if we'll get to it later.
We'll get to it later.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of that, I spun the wheel again. Landed on X-Men Origins Wolverine: Redemption. Let's talk about Scott Adkins. Did you guys know he's the bad Deadpool in that movie?
No.
I did not.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. He's definitely my favorite part of this movie. Is that true of everyone else?
Not my favorite, but he's amazing. Like, I loved him.
I'll be honest, when he first showed up, I was like, what the hell is this? But he grew on me.
Yeah. I think for me, I was like, I don't know who this actor is, but he seems like he's in some sort of like, because it doesn't even look like your traditional This isn't a the whale situation. He looks like he's wearing like one of those like I don't even know how to describe it, but like if you filled a suit like with like air and he's like walking around like a little balloon. Like he's kind of got that vibe going on.
Okay.
Which when you start this scene, you're like, this guy's just here to like be a little mini boss or something. But then you're like, no, this has to be a like fit guy that's going to do backflips and stuff. But why? What are we doing with this? And yeah, then he goes and does it. Yeah, I don't know. He was awesome. I love him so much.
Yeah. He's serving Colin Farrell in the Batman.
Yes, the best thing. Like. Why doesn't every actor do this? Just you still get to be like hunk, and you just put on a bunch of makeup and do a silly accent, and you're so endeared.
It's probably so much work.
Yeah,
like I could not imagine.
That's definitely true.
I did like when they got to the fight in the club that's full of water for some reason, and they're just like doing power bombs and other wrestling moves.
Oh my god. So good. Just incredible. And like he's nimble and fit as a fiddle, just doing like and yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
like why'd they make him a fat guy? Like why not just have him be just like I guess it goes to the I don't know, the energy that they're trying to go for.
Yeah, I guess they just decided he needed a gimmick and that was the gimmick they haven't done yet.
I mean, some people, especially if you're not training for like weight loss or like show muscles, like you can be a big rotund fella and still be really strong.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like Kingpin was like 500 pounds of pure muscle. And that's what it seems like this guy is too. Because he did some shit where he like picked up John Wick like he's a little piece of cardboard, but he also has like it's the jumping around that's the part of him that's so strange and why he feels like he's filled with helium. But,
I mean, the part of it that's so strange is that up until the very end of the fight, they're doing this in front of a bunch of people dancing in his normal club, and like nobody reacts at all.
I mean, they're all assassins, I assume. I think everybody in this movie is also an
everyone's
assassin.
a fucking
But at
assassin.
the end, when John Wick throws him over the railing, the people are like, "Oh my god!" and they run away.
Yeah, because they love that guy, and they're bummed that he just got.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh no, that's our boy."
Yeah, he's sick as hell. But yeah, I don't know. It's a truly bizarre little scene. I think if anybody hasn't seen this movie, I think all the stuff we're describing you can kind of put together, except for him. Like, you should look up a picture of this man or whatever. Like I said, the character's name is Killa. He got a poster. I have not seen any footage of him like uploaded. Like it's one of those movies that's good, so they don't have to show you all the scenes immediately. But yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty cool.
I do appreciate that the trailers didn't just like give everything away for this movie. There was no go see John Wick 4. There are so many surprises. And they just showed the grave of John Wick.
And well, then they show Scott Adkins in a fat suit.
Yeah. I would have loved it if we saw just Gal Gadot also showed up at the end of this.
What if at the end with Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne at the grave, they're like, I guess John Wick's really gone now. Maybe not.
That would be great. Oh my god. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Spin the wheel again. All right. Landed on one of everyone's. This one's called WixCon. This is like an XCOM joke. WexCom. Is that what it's called? I don't know what the fuck that game is.
WixCom.
I played it for 10 minutes. WexCom. Yeah. I'm talking about the John Wick convention we're all going to next week. I'm going to show up dressed as John Wick. I think I could pull that off.
They're going to show all of Zack Snyder's John Wick movies.
Yo, but like it would be fun to go dressed up as the big giant guy from like Scott Adkins' guy. Be pretty fun, like Halloween costume. Honestly, like I'm kind of into it.
So is it going to be next Halloween? You're Scott Adkins in John Wick 4, and Hannah's a deck of cards.
Oh my god, yeah. Or
my god,
I feel like his guy is so. The thing about him, for people that haven't seen this movie, I can't stop talking about him because he's the best part. He's weird enough on his own at just like his whole thing, like he plays cards and he's. The whole thing in John Wick movies and any assassin movies, because it's the hottest thing, is like it's an assassin, but he actually is very casual about it. Like that's Donnie Yen here, and then that's a little bit him. But he also like giggles a lot, and he like says a thing, and he's like, "And you are a man marked for death," and then like moves on, and it's just like it's a great attitude. I love him.
To be good, we also haven't talked about that. He has the world's weirdest accent. He's like kind of German, but he also lisps because of his gold teeth. So it comes out.
Yeah, I assumed they were going for German, but I'm honestly not Not sure.
I mean, they're in Berlin.
Oh, at
so
one point he
I
goes 9 instead of no.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
Is that like a stereotype that like? Because I don't know too much about Germans. The like most recent German stereotype I can think of is like your party boy, like, you know, at the club, which is kind of everybody else at that club. But is that also a thing where it's like, oh, those big German humongous pimps that love to play cards that I just don't recognize at all? If so, I need to watch more movies with those guys in them because they rule. But yeah, so let's talk about the XCOM scene. What do you guys think of that? DJ, you brought it up when we were originally talking wheel stuff. So is this your favorite scene? Did he do good XCOM?
Like, you mean like the overhead stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think he did real good at XCOM. Looked good for cover real well. You know, really made sure he had good hit percent accuracies to make sure there was no way he'd miss.
set up his
I
Overwatches.
Yeah, it's so good as Overwatches. One thing I love about every bad guy in John Wick is they never check corners. Like they might get John Wick if they just check a corner once.
Oh, yeah.
But like go in straight with a gun, and there John Wick is right at the corner. It's like, guys, come on.
They refuse to like even try. Yeah. And John Wick seems to be, and this is what I think we don't know about him. That fight is how he sees all of these fights. Like, he knows where everybody is in every room right as they're about to turn corners because he just has a camera floating 10 feet above the ceiling. And
that's the secret,
nobody
right?
else
That's
knows.
the John Wick secret.
Yeah, this scene was pretty cool.
I liked it a lot. I didn't realize the whatever Roman candle, dragon's breath thing, whatever, was like real.
I mean,
had no
I
idea.
don't think they look that spectacular when they fire.
Yeah, like there's like a flamethrower just like going
But yeah,
at it.
dragon breath, incendiary rounds for shotguns are real.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh man.
It's also, like, not that helpful. No bullet is worth it in these movies. You gotta cut John Wick's head off, because, like, they shoot him with these once or twice, and it still doesn't really, hit him.
I've been waiting for movies, and now I'll never get it, in all the Warriors scene, where everyone is gathering together, like, oh, the hit's out on John Wick, everybody get ready, for there to be one guy who, like, stops, thinks about it, like, John Wick. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need the 20 whatever million.
I don't need to be dead, because what's going to happen is I'm going to die, and I'm not going to have $20 million.
Yeah, I mean, once John Wick gets integrated into the MCU, we'll get that guy. That'll be some famous comedian who...
So you can get resurrected by the Lazarus pit? Or
Yeah.
Listen,
it's
I'm
decent, but whatever.
not asking for friggin' Kevin, God, what's his name? Kevin Hart. I'm not asking for Kevin Hart to do a 5-minute stand-up bit about John Wick, you gotta be out of your mind. John Wick kills people all the time. He kills... and like go on and on about it. I just want one guy to be like, no, and then that's it. Like that's the whole scene.
I kind of want the Kevin Hart bit now.
I mean...
I feel like you've tempted
I
me.
can see it in one of these movies, and I feel like if I'm Kevin Hart in that movie, there's humongous incentive, especially in the Paris thing, to sit this one out, because you're going to be the only one left after John Wick kills them all.
That's true.
Like, especially when it comes through...
All contracts go through you.
It goes to the 5th version of it, and she's like, by the way, still haven't killed John Wick yet. Anybody that's not dead, go try to kill him. It's like, man, I am going to just be the bestest ass. Yeah, they're going to have to, like, jump over themselves to hire me. Get $20 million to, like, kill a, guy that's easy to kill, because I'm the only game in town. But not so. Yeah, he's pretty... That guy's, like... Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of because you have Roman Candles guy. This is also where John Wick saves the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping John Wick would have to kill the dog.
No.
Because it's his...
That would be the worst character arc in all of cinema.
This is his weakness. Dog. He can't kill a dog. Like, that's why when this guy had a dog, I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect.
It would have been perfect, DJ. John Wick would have gone from guy who cares too much about dog to guy who cares the right amount about dog.
I think that's insane to wish that, and I think you're both
It
monsters.
just didn't make sense why we had him unless that was what he was for. Because we just did John Wick and person who trains dogs, unless this guy was hostile dogs. Then there's something there.
Does John Wick ever even actually fight the dog?
No, never.
No.
Well,
There's never a scenario where the guy has to send the dog after him. The dog's always like incapacitated or elsewhere when he would have to face John Wick.
That's right.
Which certainly is a choice.
Dog's got a lot to do. It's a big day.
Eating all those nuts. The dog eats so much nuts.
He got so many nuts to bite.
Yeah. What a command, by the way.
Yeah, nuts.
Like,
I love that.
Did either of you ever watch Chainsaw Man or read Chainsaw Man?
No, it's on my list. I got to
either.
do that.
Okay, I'm not going to say the thing I was going to say then because it's an incredible moment in that that show.
Chainsaws the nuts so fucking hard.
No, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with a chainsaw.
Okay, but nuts for sure.
You'll see.
Okay, I guess I will.
I do think it's funny that he only has. We see dog trainer guy, and he has 2 commands: dog, kill, and then dog nuts.
Yes. Those
you should come up with some other commands.
The dog's a Pokemon. It can only learn a certain amount of moves.
Yeah, it's out of HM. Yeah. well, because the other ones are cut and fly. So
yeah, he had to use his HMs. So the only regular moves he has room for are kill and nuts.
And it's, get you pretty far, honestly. Yeah, this guy. But yeah, John Wick saves the dog. Cool.
Yeah, as he should.
No, he should.
It's a good character.
He should have to fight the dog. It would be so interesting. It's the only thing that can stop
Nando.
John Wick.
The duel at the end shouldn't have been Donnie Yen. It should have been the dog holding a pistol in its mouth.
Yeah, and he just has to shoot it, and John Wick has to, decide to do that or just blow his own head off because he can't. That would be so funny.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that, by the way. It didn't show up on the wheel as the card game of rules. Well, we talked about it a little bit so far, but yeah, the way they decide the duel is they have this little card game where they all sit down and then uncover cards to see who's got the most points, and that guy gets to pick the thing for the duel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool.
They pick time, location, and weapons, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And rules of engagement, no quarter. They both.
Right.
I guess because you could make the rules of engagement. Oh, if my owies are too big, then duel over. That could be something.
Certainly. I don't think Clancy Brown would be psyched if you said that sentence to him. But you could try.
Wait, yeah. What are your rules of engagement? It's my best Clancy Brown. If the owies are too big, then I vote no more owies. So then duel over after too many owies.
I want to set an owie threshold of 3.
Yeah.
If I have more than 3 owies, the duel's over.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I was curious because he says the rules of engagement, the things that get John Wick gets pistols. Is that him?
Yeah, he is pistols, no quarter, and the location.
Sacre Corps.
He gets 3 of the 4.
The only one he doesn't get is the time.
Well, they both.
Yeah.
They don't bother flipping for no quarter because they both say no quarter, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. All right, fair enough.
Do you think the Marquis could have said a million years from now? Would that have technically been fine?
Clancy Brown would have slapped him in the face.
The heat death of the universe, sir. Oh, shit.
It would have been 21 years after the last descendants of King Charles III died.
That's a good idea. Someone should try that in real life. Maybe that's the Marquis running all this bullshit down there. Oh my god, that's so funny. DJ, do you know what that is? Have you heard of this?
I don't.
Incredible.
So you know how Ron DeSantis tried to put Disney's all their special government privileges from Florida under his control so he could make them stop being woke?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the day before that board got its new appointees from Ron DeSantis, Disney had them pass an agreement that's basically all the stuff we have now is ours forever and you can't change this. And also and the one clause is this thing is in effect in perpetuity, or if it's found to violate the clause of perpetuity or something that says you can't have something last forever, then it will last until 21 years after the last descendant of King Charles III dies.
What?
Yeah, they went for it.
Why is that the parameter?
That's a really long time from now.
Yeah, it's some unimaginably distant point, but theoretically finite.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is so funny.
Tiny
D.
Thank you for informing me on that. Yeah, Tiny D.
Tiny D really coming up big this week. Yeah, so yeah, can either of you guys describe the end of this movie, like this weird little Warriors bit? Because I don't think we've been super clear about it, but I think we've kind of danced around it enough, much like a certain man in a gigantic suit. But yeah, the people need to know.
It's funny because like so it's at the end with Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne, and they basically go like, "Hey, John Wick, it's the end of the John Wick movie. You know how this goes." And John Wick goes, "Yeah, I fucking know how this goes." So, you know, he gets his little pistol, he gets his new suit, and he's just got to fucking run up topside and get to the place where he's got to be. Get me to the church on time, baby.
He's got to get from like, right around the Arc de Triomphe to Sacré-Cœur, which is actually a really long way to go on foot.
Now, is there a better strategy than what he does?
Yes.
What is it? I'm curious.
There must be a better outlet than for where he goes from. Because he asks, like, how close can you get me to the church? And the answer is apparently not far at all, motherfucker.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. What would you do?
Maybe I get a big coat and, like, try and hide, maybe?
It's true.
You would most dangerous game it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I would do.
Stealth is very, like slept on in these movies. Because you could hide, sure. I mean, if they're just killing everyone that tries to go to that monument, then you're going to have a hard time making that last bit. But that beginning stuff, I think you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This feels very much like a level in the mole or something.
Yeah. Oh my god, it does.
Yeah. Which means it's good.
According to Google, it would take you roughly an hour to walk from the Arc de Triomphe to Sacré-Cœur. So, he probably should have left sooner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right?
Well, like...
But also, he appears to be in the subway system with Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne, and there's a subway that goes to Montmartre where Sacré-Cœur is. So, like,
right.
Why didn't you just get off at Montmartre?
I guess he knew they'd be looking for him there, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Especially because he doesn't know... Like, I guess it's weird because he has to get there on time. He assumes everybody's going to be coming to get him. But
Which, yeah, totally tracks.
And it's like the break of dawn or something, right? Or whatever.
Sunrise.
Well, he's there before sunrise because he's got to get to Sacré-Cœur by sunrise.
Right. But, like, one of the things that he keeps running into is there's plenty of people out and about doing their, just, like, errands and stuff.
Yeah,
lots of
Paris
traffic.
is a big city.
Yeah, you figure you would be able, excuse me, to just hide in a crowd,
Maybe you lose John Wick points if you hide. Like, if he tries to avoid a fight, then his John Wick powers start to leave him.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of Warriors,
maybe he has too much pride. Like, he won't allow for that to be the
I wanted to say, because I mentioned it earlier, in the scene where the Marquis decides to call all the warriors...
Yeah.
Yeah.
His Portuguese assistant is like, "Are you sure this is a good idea? Trusting your fate to the dueling pistols where your guy is a blind man?" Which, fair point.
Yeah. Worth asking.
And the Marquis responds with some philosophical bullshit, as everyone does to questions in this movie.
Yeah.
But this one's my favorite because it transparently in the moment makes no sense whatsoever. He says there are three kinds of people in this world.
Oh, yeah.
People
who
are looking to die, people who are looking to live, people who are looking to save someone.
It's people who have something to live
Yes.
for, people who have something to die for, and people who have something to kill for.
Yes. And
makes no fucking sense.
Well, DJ, not only does that not make sense, but like that first part doesn't make sense, but you can be like, okay, accept it in the moment. But then he immediately goes, after saying those are the three kinds of people, John Wick is none of those people.
Yeah.
And Donnie Yen is all three of them. And I'm like, well, that's not what the thing you said means, okay?
Or is it? This is why you're not at the high table, Diggins.
Yeah, seriously.
Stuff's all going over your head, I think. Yeah.
There's transparently not three kinds of people if John Wick is none of them. There's at least four kinds of people. There's the fourth one that John Wick is.
He's not even that. That's how interesting of a man John Wick is. There's five kinds of people. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, oh yeah, we knew this the whole time. Oh man.
It's like...
That's not what that turn of phrase means. It doesn't mean that... You're supposed to sort them, not say one is all of them and the other is none of them.
Yeah.
That just drove me crazy because, like I said, in the moment I was like, wait a minute.
It's like, you're just saying words.
That's what these are. Just some fight scenes strung together by the most precarious sentences.
With philosophical
in the world.
bullshit.
And even there's scenes like this one in earlier where the Marquis and Ian McShane are doing their little negotiation where they just are looking at the big giant, painting from the Coldplay album. And it's just like
Liberty leading the people.
Yeah, they're about as heavy-handed as these movies can possibly be sometimes.
Which, by the way, is inside the Louvre for another. Yep. They cleared out a famous Paris landmark for some high table stuff.
Yeah, or he stole it, or he has the real one, much like a Glass Onion situation. Or are they in the Louvre? Oh, okay,
they're in the. I've been in the Louvre and seen that painting, and that is the spot in the Louvre where that painting is.
Again, they're filming a movie here. Give us 2 minutes. This is for the next, I don't know, Schmon Schmick movie or whatever they are in this universe. And I spun the wheel again, landed on one of DJ's trivial fall damage.
Oh my gosh. So, at what point do we just have to accept, John Wick can fall from any height, and it's fine. He doesn't sound woozy. He just gets up, be like stumble, I'm good, folks. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
How long are we allowed to just accept this? Is it forever?
Until he dies.
John Wick gave one of his gold coins to God and asked God to turn off fall damage.
He has God's marker.
Oh, that would be sick. But
incredible.
Yeah, he really does have kind of a Wolverine deal going on in these movies where he will take a hit and it affects him, but if he has a second or two to recover, he gets better immediately.
Yeah.
And that's good, I guess, for him.
It's very
fantastic.
silly.
No one else has it that we know of, at least.
But goddamn John Wick does.
Yeah, John Wick can do that. He falls out of a lot of buildings. This one's the worst because in the last movie, he fell down a building, but he kind of hit everything on his way down, which seems worse, but also it kind of stopped him from accelerating so much they just landed on something. But in this, they did that thing where he landed on a nice soft car and just was able to.
That was so weird.
Fall. Just like Vin Diesel, he's Lord of the Cars.
Yeah. It's more Fast and Furious than we even thought. That scene was fun. I spun the wheel again, landed on one of mine. A realistic scene about an American trying to figure out a roundabout. Keanu Reeves causes what must be the most insane traffic accident to people that are not assassins. And this also comes with one of TJ's things, trivial car hit damage. Gets hit by cars maybe 4 times, something like that. Insane.
Oh, man. He gets hit by cars so much. And then it gets on, and then he's on top of those cars because he got hit by them, and the cars stop, and he goes flying into a different car.
Yeah. What happens, John Wick? Remember when he had to duck underwater to avoid bullets because it was hard? Now he's just fucking. He's Wolverine. There's no other thing to compare it to. He's the Terminator or he's Wolverine, but it's impossible to kill him.
It's the suit. The suit stops bullets, which means it stops high velocity impacts by distributing the force across the fabric. So the suit is just dissipating all the force of his car hits and his falls across the fabric so that he survives.
Did Shuri make the suit for him or something?
Yeah.
We need a scene where Spider-Man is this John Wick doesn't do the laws of physics at all or something like that. Because it's just this scene really broke my kind of immersion just a little bit. And the falling off the roof thing. But this one too. Because with the falling off the building thing, I think the problem for me is that scene is kind of posed as how's John Wick going to get out of this one? What clever thing is he going to do? Jump out the window and die. But, watching him solve the problems is the fun part. Getting through all the guys. But, I don't know. I guess not. But, yeah, that roundabout scene is wild.
Yeah.
But that's also the least full of traffic I've ever seen the traffic circle on the Arc de Triomphe.
Seriously.
It was late.
It was early.
It was early, yeah. You know those French people. You watch Emily in Paris. They don't go to work till 10 a.m. By the way, Emily in Paris would have been at all of these landmarks taking Instagram pictures.
Even
next
now,
to all the assassins.
When she's been in Paris
France.
for so long, she's still going to the landmarks?
Well, because of Instagram, she has brands that she needs to promote by going to the landmarks and taking pictures and getting more followers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure she went to that church last season, the one that the movie ends at. I think that was somewhere she just went for the first time. But I can relate to that.
It is very famous and also hard to get to because it is up a bunch of stairs.
Yeah, and I can relate. I feel like doing touristy, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done a lot of New York touristy stuff because I live here. Why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. You need to like take a vacation in another part of the city and just treat it like it's a new place. I just do that for a weekend because it just doesn't feel like that's the right thing to do. Yeah, I like that John Wick gets to drive a car again. I forgot that's something he's pretty cool at, with the door all off and stuff.
With both doors off.
Yeah, and it's the John Wick of cars because it can take all kinds of insane damage too. Like
that's true.
Good for him. I spun the wheel one last time and landed on. I can't remember whose this is. I warned you about stairs, bro.
That was me.
Finale. Okay,
that was Diggins.
Because it's a reference that only I understand.
I was gonna say, it sounded like a reference, but this is how you talk usually. You use the word bro a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Classic.
So this is the stair fight that we've talked about when he has to get up the 222 steps of Montmartre to Sacré-Cœur. I know my French pronunciations are bad, but I have fun doing them, so I don't care.
French people, if you're not assassins who are killed by John Wick, let us know in like comments or Twitter or something if this bothers you.
So at first he thinks he's free and clear. He's just like, I just got to get up these steps because I already fought all the warriors. But it turns out he's wrong. There's a few more warriors to get through. And he fights his way up through them. And it's pretty cool. He does some John Wick stuff. And he finally gets to the top. And the Portuguese guy throws him down all 222 steps. We literally see him tumble down every set of stairs for like a full minute.
It's like a scene from like Family Guy or something like that.
Right? It's weirdly comical.
It's insane. Do you think that's the other thing with these movies. The behind the scenes is sometimes more interesting than the movie itself. Have we seen the behind the scenes of that bit? What was real, what wasn't, how
we saw the behind the scenes of a different falling down the stairs bit, which was real. That was just a random goon though. That wasn't John Wick.
Oh, okay. Because I'm curious what the actual situation was.
I think he might have fallen down a couple of discrete parts of steps,
right.
And that's because it is kind of chopped up where we see him fall down one section and then we cut to a different section that he's falling down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Is there another thing? I'm trying to think. Does this happen in oh, you know what it is? It's Hot Rod. This is that scene in Hot Rod where he falls down the mountain for 10 minutes. I knew this was something. I like that Donnie Yen is there. That's nice of him.
Yeah.
I guess it's good that he helps.
I felt kind of confused by Donnie Yen's psychology in this moment. Is it just because he likes John Wick and wants to give him a fair chance? Or what is he thinking in this moment that's I should help John Wick get to the top?
It's my only way out is to kill John Wick in this duel.
No, I feel like it's I know John Wick wants to kill the Marquis, and the only way I can be done with him is by setting up some bullshit that gives John Wick the opportunity to do that.
That's interesting.
All he needs to do is kill John Wick. If he killed John Wick there and thus made sure the Marquis had no risk of losing, the Marquis would still have made him free.
Well, yeah, but he was free before, and the Marquis just you're not free anymore, come back. I feel like as much as this movie seems to be built on these really, really complicated rules, it also seems like the guys in charge can just decide to make it not count anyway.
I think that's why the Marquis is a little shit, right? That's kind of the thing.
Much like real life.
Much like real life, yeah.
The law and its majestic equality forbids both assassin and weird assassin manager from shooting someone in a hotel.
Yeah, it is funny. I do like with the tracker and this moment how kind of the insane incentives of this system work against it. Where it's we're going to have bounties and people have to kill you. And it's well, if you did that, there would be people that would be protecting you until the bounty limit that they want has been hit. So,
yeah,
I think that's kind of cute. But,
yeah, the problem is it's the one idea of this character and they never do anything else. And so by the end, I'm I don't care about this.
How dare you? It's the tracker
how
you're
dare
talking
you,
about. What was I going to say? I don't know. He's in this scene, too. He kills what did we decide? This guy who has Portuguese?
I've been saying Portuguese. He might be Brazilian. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
I just know he speaks Portuguese because at first I was that's Spanish. And then he said one word that I was what the hell is that? And I was that means it's Portuguese because that's weird. Or rather, he said words that by the translation on the subtitles, I knew I should know, but they clearly sounded different. So I was like, Portuguese, got it.
Right. Yeah. Do you think like I don't know? Do you think people like this character? Was he cool?
I had absolutely zero feelings about him whatsoever.
Oh wait, the tracker?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was.
I thought you were talking about the Brazilian guy. However, I maintain my answer.
I guess both. Yeah, the Brazilian guy for sure. I feel like nobody cares about. Although it does give him, we have the death where we're supposed to be like, oh shit, John Wick finally got his revenge. But yeah, can't really quite support that.
I guess it's more Mr. Nobody got his revenge for seeming like he was going to kill his dog that one time.
Also, the dog gets killed too earlier in the movie. The dog is John Wick powers. Remember when it gets thrown by that guy into a car?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I was like, this is not John Wick. The John Wick audience is not going to like this. But then the dog is cool. Mm-hmm. But then, John Wick dies. I think there's no way he stays dead. But I don't know what they use to bring him back. He
dies in the Barry Lyndon scene. Mm-hmm. So I promised I would explain this. So let me explain it. Towards the end of Barry Lyndon, there's a duel between him and his stepson, who hates him. And Barry Lyndon at this point has been a soldier and has been in a bunch of duels. And his stepson is a rich idiot. So Barry Lyndon is just standing there, stone cold, while his stepson is literally pissing and vomiting from fear and distress. His stepson challenged him, by the way. The stepson wants this to happen.
Yeah.
And then while pissing and shitting himself, fiddles with the gun and accidentally fires it into the ground for his first shot, and then just looks at Barry Lyndon because he knows he has the shot and is I think literally vomits. And then Barry Lyndon just fires the gun into the ground also because he's like, I don't really want to kill you. And then the son shoots him in the stomach. And he's like, I win the duel. It's the funniest duel scene in the history of cinema.
It was until this one. This one's pretty funny. Did you guys how was your theater experiences for this, by the way?
It was fine.
I didn't have very many people.
Okay.
I had a ton, but it was... One guy was on his phone the whole time. Come on,
he was getting his bounty, his people were texting him which people he had to kill.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You gotta keep your phone on you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, DJ, someone was upset about this. You did not tell us your theater experience last week, but teased it.
I realized that I did tease it, but never said it. It was for I went to a very late showing of Shazam. So real quick, very quickly, two crazy things. Crazy thing number one, a couple brought their young daughter. This was a 10:30 showing for Shazam, right? Okay. And they and it was their 4-year-old daughter, and I was like, "What's going on here? This is way past their bedtime." They left in the middle of the movie, of course, we're gonna stay.
That's fair.
And then another couple that was sitting in front of me, it was just make out the whole time and just sloppy makeout. I moved at one point to not be directly behind him, but they were just we are using this opportunity to just make out the entire time.
And as we know from previous podcasts, even the thought of kissing makes DJ break out in hives and piss and shit and vomit like the stepson in Barry Lyndon.
It's the most disgusting thing you could do, so obviously.
I mean, and it's really weird that it's for this movie. I would get it if it was a sexy movie like John Wick 4 or Dungeons and Dragons probably, or any other movie this year.
Well, I mean, Shazam. Hugh Grant is in Dungeons and Dragons, so of course it'll be sexy.
It's a shame they're not making any action figures of him, though. They gotta start doing that for these movies.
If they did make an action figure of him, though, it would probably look weird and off-model because they don't have the rights to use Hugh Grant's likeness, so they just made it different enough to be legally distinct.
I love when they do that.
I just think it's one of those things you go to a late showing, it's oh, you never know what you're gonna get. Freaks are out at night. But for the John Wick one, it was packed. I couldn't believe how packed it was.
So what we learned from this is that DJ hates children and love.
Yep, you nailed it. You figured me out. Oh man,
and I get it.
I just thought it was the making out one was also it was they're two high school teenagers, whatever. These are two just adults. Just going at it at the movie theater. It's there's gotta be better. You're doing yourselves a disservice, right?
That's true.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't mind them doing that in general, but it's you paid to be here. Surely there's better. If all you want is a dark room to make out in, surely there are better options.
Maybe they just get
exactly
really, Zachary Levi, or I don't know, Jimon Hansu really does it for him, and they've watched all their other movies at home, and it doesn't the thrill is worn off, and they've watched all the trailers, and so now they have to do this. Lucky
Or
for
maybe,
them,
I guess.
Zachary Levi's been all over Instagram, so they're going to get a lot of new material to talk about. But,
Oh, well, what are his thoughts on, I don't know, pick a topic?
yeah,
Is it the best ones? Does he have the best thoughts?
he has great thoughts. I
Well,
like
how
about
could he
half
not
of his
when he-
thoughts.
When he listens to one of the
Greatest intellectuals of our time.
the greatest intellectuals of our time, the original thinker.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably what was happening with that couple. I don't know.
That or you being grossed out by it was part of it for them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
You're
oh,
like that guy
come
from My
on.
Hero Academia who gets more
Oh my
powerful
God,
with more
you're-
shame.
The shame.
Yeah,
The shame.
they're that.
Oh, man. Fuck. Yeah, you're probably right.
So you brought this upon yourself.
It's pretty unfortunate, I think.
I was just gonna say, I only brought up the theater thing because my theater had I hate these. This is maybe one of my least favorite things. Is when there's a moment like the John Wick, the assassin, like the duel. They both shoot each other. Although it's very clear to us, the audience, that something's up.
Right.
And there's like the Marquis is like, I want to finish John Wick. So then he gets the gun, and then there's like silence. And someone goes, John Wick's not dead. But not in like an, I want to spoil this for everybody else. Like, I want to prove how clever I am because I figured it out.
Yeah,
I feel like this happens so much now. And it's just like, you just wait for the movie. The movie's going to do it. It's okay. I'll tell you. This isn't Lost or something where you need to throw out your theory halfway through the movie as, the only way it will ever be explained. But yeah, it's a peeve.
I never get that. That's so weird that I never get the random shout outs. The biggest one in this was like when he fell off fell into the soft car. Someone just went, "Come on." And I'm like,
That
"Yeah, I'm
guy's
with
cool.
you."
Yeah, I like him.
I am with that person who's like, I've hit my limit of being able to believe this shit.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone yell stuff like that. However, my theater did love it when the dog pissed on that guy's corpse.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
same.
that.
My theater went nuts.
Yeah, I did too. I think overall, this movie is fun, but it's so weird.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean,
yeah.
I complain about the writing a lot because I don't think it's very good. Like, I feel like this format that we do is bad for talking about the things about this movie that are good. So I just sound like I hated it when I didn't. I think this movie's pretty good.
yeah. Where does it rank among your John Wick movies for everybody that can kind of remember what happens in them? Because for me, they kind of all blend together.
That's a problem. I remember not liking 2. Like, I think 2 was very down for me. I really like 3. This is probably like number 3 for me. I would go 1, 3, 4, 2.
I'd probably go...
But still love them all.
I'd probably go... One's definitely the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 3 is my least favorite. So I'm trying to decide if it's 2
Oh,
or
really?
4 afterwards.
That's interesting.
I'm with Diggins. I think 3 really drags in the middle. I don't think the Halle Berry stuff's that fun. And yeah, the end isn't that great either. But 3
Well,
has the
I saw
throwing
it-
knives.
I'm going to go with recency bias and say 1, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go 1, 3, 4, 2, just because I do think the throwing knife scene is probably my favorite individual John Wick fight scene, and that saves 3 for me. And then yeah, I really cannot remember a single thing from 2 besides the Hall of Mirrors fight with like Ruby Rose or something.
Yeah, she's in that one.
Oh, yeah.
And then I also
That's the one with John Legend, too.
who?
Is it...
like the
You mean
singer.
Common?
I mean, why the hell did I say John Legend? What's wrong with me?
It's a good
I mean,
question.
they're friends, probably. I don't know. Music industry's a pretty small circle.
I did mean I don't know what happened with my brain there. Yes, Common. That's the one with Common.
I have a theory, but I just want to check on it. Yep, Common and John Legend did the song for Selma together.
That's
They were
what
very
it is.
frequently talked about.
That's how
as a
Diggins
group.
got there? No
I think
way.
it might be.
That's
anyway.
probably the first time I've heard of either of them, so it's very possible they're linked in my mind for that reason.
Wow, somebody didn't watch Fox News in the 2010s when Common went to the White House, and that was the biggest deal for like a week and a half.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
well,
remember when that was
never ended.
Man.
Common's cool. I don't know. I like Common enough. I feel like he does a lot of stuff like this. Like he did like John Wick too. He's in some other movie, like some other like action movie, like Smoking Aces or something. And yeah, everybody wanted him to be what's his name for a while.
John
the guy.
Legend.
John Legend, yeah. Oh, right, and he's in Suicide Squad. He's the guy that's like, I don't want your girl, Mr. T or Mr. J. His name is Mr. T. And then Joker kills him. And yeah, he's in Wanted. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, the two isn't great. Also, 3 has those guys that are like, I really want to kill John Wick, but I'm also a huge fan of John Wick's. So before I kill him, I'm going to make a big deal out of that. And I do remember liking that, actually.
That is legit fun.
Yeah.
Like, that is legit fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, 3 is just when I was getting tired of it. Mm-hmm. Tired of John Wicking. And I was just like...
Okay.
And I was just like, well, this is more of the same. Cool. And again, like, I do like that movie. It's just everything I've already said. I'm not going to repeat myself.
Yeah. Another thing I want to ask real quick before we get done. So, Shazam 2. Spoilers for a movie no one will see if you haven't listened to last week's pod. He dies at the end. John Wick 4. He dies at the end. Do you think this is the summer of movies where the main guy dies at the end?
Ooh,
We'll find out with the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the tough one, because I think we're definitely going to lose some Guardians. Like, there's a good chance Batman doesn't make it out of that Flash movie. Maybe the Flash doesn't make it out of that Flash movie, now that I think about it.
I mean, there's going to be either a joke or a serious plot point about a one-up mushroom, right?
Oh, yeah, like, you think it's going to be the Wonder Woman banana of that movie?
Or it's like we see, like, Princess Peach explains the mystic power of the one-up mushroom at some point, and then later, when they think we've forgotten about it, there's a point where we think Mario dies because he falls in a pit or something, but then he gets spat back out because he has the one-up mushroom. Whoa!
Oh, without a doubt.
Or it'll be like a passing, like, Toad goes like, there's been legends of a one-up mushroom, but we've never seen anyone get it or whatever, and then that's how that plays out.
Maybe Mario will have, like, wait, I don't know if this is the rules of Mario, but, like, he'll have a one-up mushroom, and then he'll die. But he won't have the one-up mushroom, but he'll have 100 coins, so he'll get a one-up mushroom or something like that. We can make this really complicated. Maybe he'll get a star. He'll secretly have a star, and someone will be singing the theme song, I guess, so they can't hear the star song. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a fast character could definitely die. I think it'd be insane if Vin Diesel died in this one, but that would be kind of interesting. Yeah. And I could see Peter B. Parker from Spider-Man dying, and I could see Optimus Prime dying. I could see Fire dying in that Elements movie. What if Elements were friends?
Oh, man.
I could see us all dying.
It's on the table, man.
And then Indiana Jones. I think he's very likely to be his last one of these.
Do you think then the series will switch to Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
Mutt Williams' return of Mutt. No, it's going to be that fucking Kihei Kwan one that everyone keeps talking about online enough now that I would hate it. It used to be a fun little joke, but now it's annoying.
I haven't seen that. I hadn't thought about it. I didn't think he would
never?
return.
Oh my God. Yeah, it used to be like, wouldn't it be fun if they did this with this? And now it's like, now that he won an Oscar, this is obviously what he needs to do next. Otherwise, we'll all be unhappy. But as long as Craven and main Dune guy survive, this year will be A-okay. But
I bet.
Craven dying would be insane. That would be like something wild.
Nando, I unless they radically change the books, I know what's going to happen to main Dune guy.
Well, don't spoil it for me. But
I won't.
He probably dies.
I feel like you just did by saying that is the thing, though.
It's true.
So
we'll see.
Thanks for that.
I don't really understand what you mean, DJ. I'm just saying that I know what the answer is, and I'm going to lord it over Nando. I am not implying one way or the other.
Very good.
All right, you're on thin ice, Council.
Yeah.
I very sincerely am not implying one way or the other.
I mean...
Right, but you are on thin ice.
I kind of assume
that's just the
rules. He's gotta die, right? He's the Jesus. We'll get to it. Or not we'll get to it, but that's my thought. You guys, any other John Wick thoughts before we get to our classic segment?
I think I'm good on John Wick
Time for the classic segment, you guys.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
You guys have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do, Nando.
Incredible.
I do. All right. So for this first one, I'm pretty sure I'm stealing from you, but guys, Love Is Blind is back for season 4, and it is amazing.
Never has been better.
So very quickly, for those who may not be familiar or not have heard this before, Love Is Blind is a show where they get these people who like all live in the same city to like go on dates based on everything but physical traits. So they're in these what are called pods, and like they talk to people, but they don't see what they look like. And what they try to figure out is love truly blind. So they decide that they could, if they want, they can propose sight unseen, and then they go to Mexico for their honeymoon for a week, and then they spend 3 weeks living together, and then they get married to find out is love truly blind. I think the show, when it started out, like, had trouble, like, finding its footing, like, not sure exactly what it wanted to be, but it has figured it out big time, and it is so good. It's so good. It's so interesting. It's so fun. They know how to cast people that are gonna, like, stir the pot and have, like, interesting things happen, and, like, I am in love with this show. There's five episodes out now, with 3 more coming out. I guess by the time these have already come out, but, like, as of recording, 5. And it's just such a joy to watch these people just ruin it for themselves. It's great. They're also, like, weirdly mean this season too, which I don't know that I love, but I think overall it's like like enjoyable.
There have never been villains this villainous, I think, on this show before.
Yes. Yeah,
I assume the way they cast for these shows is they give all the auditioners the Voight-Kampff test from Blade Runner, and then sort out all the ones who are total sociopaths with no concept of other people's wants or needs, and they're the ones who get to be on the show.
Yeah, I think they go to that club where everyone keeps dancing while John Wick kills 50 people and go, I think these people are the right kind of guys for us. And even the people that keep dancing after he kills the big giant man, those are the ones that really get in. That's where your stars are made.
Yeah, so this one takes place in Seattle. Last season was Dallas. Next season, I'm pretty excited for is Washington, D.C. Because like those are all like government people and stuff like that, or government contractors. Ooh. So they're going to be their own batch of weirdos. Seattle also has their own batch of weirdos.
It could be a Cory Booker, or maybe we're going to get a Donnie Jr.
Oh. Yeah, they keep complaining that none of the women will date the conservative guys in D.C. So maybe this is how they do it.
That's true. Love is blind. So if it's a thing that you are like think you'd remotely be interested in, like if you've never seen it, this is like a great season to jump in. Just because like I think the premise is executed very well for like maybe you have some skepticism, like wait, does a show like that really work? And you can watch the season and be like, oh, so that's what happens, and you'll have a really good time with it.
Although don't expect the premise of the idea that a person could be an Uggo to come through.
No,
because
yeah.
They'll never let an Uggo on that show.
Diggins, you say that, and again, I'm not like spoiling it, but I think we get close to that idea.
Oh, because that one girl is not rail thin, but like an average human body type. Is that what you're saying, DJ?
Oh, no, it's a guy. There's a guy in question who may have committed the mortal sin of not being an uber hottie.
Okay.
But, yeah, I just think it's very fun. And I would encourage... Like, I know, like, I can never get you in on these Diggins. And, you know, I'm like, I don't know if you'd like it or not. But maybe you give it the old college try.
I'm not the audience. So, I mean, if you think you would like this kind of stuff, it sounds like it's a good one. I don't like the format of reality shows in general.
That's fine.
I think with me, I didn't used to like these, and I still don't, like The Bachelor and all the rest of them. But this one really did cut the fluff out of all of it, and it's just pure. It's like a big pile of cocaine. Well, like it's just insane how wild these people are.
I guess for me, I don't like the format of reality shows, and I also don't like cringe. So, like, there's nothing reality shows have for me.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, Diggins. Cringe alert for those, you know, on the fence. There is a lot of cringe between two people in particular. Yeah. There's one guy who's like, is he a psychopath? I'm not sure what's going on with this guy. But Michelle had to turn away at one point. She's like refused to watch one part of the show.
Yes, the part you told me about, but without telling me. But like, yes, absolutely same. I wanted to show it to Hannah because I was like, this is pretty wild. But I was like, we don't have to do more than 10 seconds of it for you to get the whole deal because it's rough.
Yeah. Near the end of episode 4, for anyone who may have seen or whatever and is wondering, it's near the end of episode 4.
Something else.
And so that's that. I have one other recommendation, which I'm wondering if I'm stealing from you guys. Did you guys watch the new Dan Olsen video?
I
did. I don't know if I finished it.
Yes, it's called "The Future Is a Dead Mall: Decentraland and the Metaverse." I knew very little about Decentraland. I feel like always with these Dan Olsen things, where I like don't know the topic, and then I'm like, I must deep dive the topic. But it's about Decentraland, which is a like metaverse style. I don't even want to say like metaverse, but it's just like
that could mean anything, DJ. What kind of metaverse are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's like Second Life. You guys remember Second Life? It's like one of those deals. But it's for me, so it's like one of his like documentary, it's like documentary styles, but like think pieces on a topic, and this he does like Decentraland and the metaverse. It's amazing. I think the thing that I found most fascinating throughout this, like, I don't know, expose is like the amount of reporters who get on it and they're like, you know, it did not work for me. It was very buggy. I don't know that this is going to work. But then they're like, it'll probably be fine. Like, it'll probably work out. I wouldn't be too worried. Like, there's just confidence that, like, it'll be fine is so weird to me. Like, their experience should tell them it will not be fine. It will be bad. Why do you think it will be fine? But no, they're just, like, not on board with that idea. They're like, yeah, we'll totally be fine. But yeah,
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
what's up,
just gonna
Nando?
say, I think we shamed those two reporters too hard that one time when they said they didn't understand what the internet was. We made fun of them so much that now every reporter is scared to be them.
Or what
Right,
about
right.
that guy who reviewed the Tetris movie and said, I've never heard of Tetris?
Oh,
The Tetris movie's out?
Not yet, but it was at a festival. And the guy who reviewed
yeah,
it
and he's like,
at the festival was like, I'd never heard of this Tetris.
That's funny.
I appreciate the commitment to not knowing Tetris.
Who can really know Tetris? You know?
Yeah. Really would recommend. It's about 2 hours, but his stuff goes by like pretty quick, shockingly, given like the depth of shit he's got to cover. And with all of it, like, you can follow his Twitter threads after, and he's like, I could have done like 20 more hours of this stuff, but I had to pare down the insanity. But it's really, really good. I still think the crypto one is like his best work, but this is still really good. It's weird too how all these things are connected. It's like all the Decentraland people are all like the Web3 and crypto people, and it's like, why are they all in on the same things?
Yeah. Because they're grifters.
It's like, you might be missing the mark here, guys. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the grift. Unfortunately. But yeah, so those are my 2 recommendations. Diggins, do you have any recommendations?
I think that was 3. But
Was it?
no, it was 2.
Yeah, it was 2.
It just went so long. I thought it must be 3.
I know it felt like 3, you know. It's the opposite of John Wick.
Yeah, I have a couple recs. One, I played the Resident Evil 4 remake. The remake of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Incredible game. I'm not super far in just yet, but they've like really like it's a completely different engine, completely like new feel gameplay wise, but they fine-tuned it where it is evocative of the Resident Evil 4, of the original Resident Evil 4, while still being this like all these slight differences. Like you can parry with the knife, you have you can move while you're reloading. You have like a duck button that sometimes lets you dodge moves. There's no more quick time events. So it feels great to play. And also in terms of like the design, it's this really interesting thing where it's mostly the old areas, right? Like it's mostly the game as originally designed. But they've kind of shuffled things around, moved things into different places or spaces, and added some extra areas or extra events to those spaces that weren't there before, where you go through it and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this, but at the same time it's like just like new stuff enough, or new ways of experiencing that stuff enough, where it's still like surprising you and keeping you guessing, even if you were very familiar with the original like I am. So it's a great remake. It's like the perfect kind of remake where I'm like, this makes me like feel things about the original. It like reminds me of that and makes me nostalgic, while at the same time bringing its own new thing to the table that can be totally enjoyed, regardless of whether or not you ever played Resident Evil 4. So that's been wonderful. I also watched a movie called Silenced, which is a South Korean movie from 2011. That was... recommend is maybe not the right word here, because it is a brutal watch. It is a story about a real-life case of this school for the school for the deaf in South Korea, where a teacher kind of exposes long-term systemic physical and sexual abuse of the children.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it does not shy away from showing you exactly what that means. It is a brutal watch, but as a movie and like as a way of telling that story, I think it is really great. And somewhat happy ending. The movie was very popular in South Korea to the degree where all the people who got away with it in the movie got reinvestigated and the school got shut down.
Oh wow, damn.
Cool.
And they made new laws about that sort of thing. So meta happy ending. But yeah, no, that's again, absolutely brutal watch. Don't watch it if you don't like sad movies or difficult movies, or if you're just not in the mood for that kind of thing. But if you are, it's on Netflix and it's really good. What about you, Nando?
What's it called?
Silenced.
Silenced. Okay. There's like a 5% chance I watch this movie, but you know.
What about you, Nando?
Might as well take the chance.
Do you have anything to rec?
I feel like I must, right? I finished a bunch of things this week. I still finished Swarm, still working on that. I finished Class of '07, which I still love. I recommend to everybody. I think it's got a solid ending. The one about the Australian girls' school, high school reunion thing that turns into a apocalypse. Very fun on Amazon. I finished Hi-Fi Rush this week, the rhythm game where you do like kind of Devil May Cry at people. I liked the ending of that. I thought it was fun. It was tricky, but it was very entertaining, and I think that game's generally pretty like well written in a way that's like not super profound, but just like pretty entertaining and likable. I haven't finished Succession, but I started Succession, and that's back, and it's back with a vengeance, baby. The Disgusting Brothers are back, apparently. It's a new thing, but love that. And, that show's still great. I'm looking forward to, I think tonight, that Apple TV show that it's like, what if everybody got a ticket that told them to like change their whole life, comes out. I'm kind of curious if that's any good. And I don't feel like I haven't watched too much other stuff. It's been a lot of stuff like this. I'm excited for Dungeons and Dragons next week. I assume that has to be the movie of the week. Yeah, right. We're doing it's Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, not to be confused with the Dungeons and Dragons movie where they say Honor Among Thieves a lot.
Have you seen the D20 popcorn bucket being offered at like I think AMC and then some like Cineplex theaters doing it? Yeah, it's a
people like, is it coveted?
I think it will be. So I went to see like I said John Wick last night. This was Tuesday night, and I said, "Do you have the D20 popcorn bucket?" She said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can I buy one?" She said, "No, we're not selling them till tomorrow. That's when we're doing the first showings." And I tried to do like the pretty please, and she was like, "No, I really can't sell it to you." And I was like, "All right, well, like, how many do you have? Like, do you think you'll sell it quick?" And she's like, "Oh, we got a few boxes. Like, I think we should be good." So I'm going to a Friday afternoon showing, and if they don't have it, I'll probably do a January 6th or something. I will riot.
You're gonna storm the AMC?
I will storm the AMC. Yeah,
that's crazy. I did not know this was a thing, but it does look fun. It's big.
You looked it up? Yeah, dude. I want this so badly.
It's it does seem like it's an AMC or maybe
oh
it's
wow,
Cineplex.
that's
it's $35. It's like a ridiculous price, but I don't care.
Oh my goodness,
I fucking want it.
I mean, listen,
I fucking want
it.
it.
It's cool.
Is this the one with the
the
dragon, or what are we looking at?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a D20 shape.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at a cup.
Yeah, D20 popcorn.
I was
bucket.
looking at a cup that they sell. This is a different thing.
Oh no, yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah. I want.
Yeah, what's
I was
up?
just to say there was something, I forget what it was. I think it was an Ant-Man 3. Oh no, it was the Batman. I don't know if you guys remember this. The popcorn vessel that was like the shape of his head, and it was called the vessel. And I never got one, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm hoping that like not enough of the nerds will be out so early to like where maybe it'll be like, oh, like I'll still be able to have it or whatever. Like I don't know, but I feel like it's gonna be gone by the time I get there.
Maybe.
I felt kind of bad for the concession worker I was talking to. Like I had taken too much interest in this popcorn bucket. She's like, I only know so much about it, sir.
Yeah,
like I was like, give me all the details on this popcorn bucket, lady. Yeah. I will freak out.
Picture the Ant-Man one into chat. They made the Quantumania a vessel.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Next time somebody goes to
Ant-Man's brains, eat them up.
Yeah, there's so much cool shit like this at Disney World. I want all of it. Like they did and this is how much I couldn't care less. Like I mean, not couldn't care less about it, Quantumania, but like it's not very good. I don't really like it. But they made that weird goo container, and you could buy it with soda, and I want it. Like I have my Infinity Gauntlet cup thing.
Yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet thing.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to Disney Land in about a month.
Just
I
in
wonder
time
if,
to not see the Steve Rogers musical.
It's like too early. Also, even sadder, you know what movie I'm going to miss with you guys because it's while I'm not on vacation?
Mario?
Renfield.
Oh, yeah. There's screening of that.
I'm like super duper upset I'm not going to be on that one. So
yeah.
You guys will have a ball.
Honestly, it might not. I'm not thinking we'll skip it, but like it's there's something else like that coming out that same weekend that's also pretty big. I remember what it's opening against.
Is there?
Yeah. But April.
I didn't know Renfield had competition. Oh, yeah. Watch out, but Nick Cage dominates the box office, right? That must still
dominates my
Exorcist. Heart. No, it's not that. Well, the Pope's Exorcist does come out that week, but
and we're going to cover it, right?
I mean, I'm curious now. It's kind of cool. Maybe not. Maybe there isn't anything.
I think Renfield's by itself for the most part. So.
Yeah,
guys,
I don't think you guys have an excuse.
Did you ever consider the consequences of what would happen if the devil possessed the Pope's exorcist?
Well, I thought about the Pope,
I want to.
And I thought about the Pope's exorcist, but now that you think about it, the Pope's exorcist guy is probably the one we got to worry about. So, yeah, I'm curious. Hopefully the movie is great.
It's like who watches The Watchmen? Who watches who exercises the exorcist or whatever?
Make you think.
So before the end, does anybody have anything to plug? DJ.
Yeah, check out Roses and Rejections. We covered the finale of Zach's season of The Bachelor. It was terrible. We're also covering Love is Blind soon, which we're very excited about. We're super duper excited. We're going to do episodes 1 through 8 before we go on vacation, and then we'll be back at the end of April with another episode where we cover the rest of Love is Blind. So we'll be a little late, but maybe we'll have some of that sweet like Instagram drama, because like these people just like can't help themselves to say, I was edited poorly during the whatever scene and my truth is not being spoken. So maybe we'll have some of the real world meta commentary in a post Love is Blind finale world. So that should be exciting.
Yeah.
So check all that out.
What about you, Diggins?
My newsletter, littleperspective.com, littleperspective.substack.com, excuse me. And also, I mentioned our Resident Evil 4 remake earlier. I streamed that, actually, what I've played so far, and hopefully I'll be doing more of that soon. I'm frequently busy at night, and especially this week, so it's a little hard for me to fit in streams, but we'll see what I can do. And if you want to follow those, you can follow me at twitch.tv/thisisanOddName. What about you, Nando?
I feel like I must have stuff, right? I mean, I got videos, nothing new since last time we talked. I'll probably have one coming out soon, but I don't know if it will be out before the next podcast. I mean, I guess that's the goal. So hopefully there will be one. It'll be on Nebula, and it'll be the What's the Deal? Why do all the superhero movies have trains? And then that means the one that's on Nebula now, the Hey, Phase 4 actually wasn't that bad video, will be on YouTube after I cut out a bit about a certain character. But besides that, it's pretty much done. So you can watch that now on Nebula if you want.
I wonder who that character will be.
Can't wait. You can't. If you want to see, you got to watch.
Can't wait.
Nope.
Can't wait.
No, there's no way. Everybody has to watch it right now if you want to see the uncut version. But yeah, so until then, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woo! Bye. We love you.